Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Hey. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Y'all see the energy that's coming into this room right now. I am in good spirits. I am in good vibes. Today is going to be an interesting topic, interesting conversation. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some stuff. It might hit below the belt a little bit. Because we're going to be talking about toxic relationships in the family and in the friendships, y'all. In toxic relationships in the family and the friendships. I know it's gonna be one that hits below the belt a little bit. So just be prepared on what's to come. Be prepared what's to come. It's not gonna be an easy conversation for a lot of people, but it needs to be had. It needs to be had. So how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? Rate your mental from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. If you want to go above a 10, you can go above a 10. But I hope everybody is doing amazing because I'm at I want to say I'm at a 9. I haven't had coffee yet, so I'm at a 9. Haven't had coffee yet. But when I do have coffee, I'll be at a 10. I'll be at a 10. We got a lot to talk about. Omega, welcome in, brother man. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. 4 or 5 or 3 or 8, but that's because I haven't my coffee either. Triplet, we gotta talk about that, but we could talk about that separately. Trip, me and you could talk about that separately. That's not a problem. May, have you joined the Discord? You're in the Discord, right? I think so, if I'm not mistaken. Carrie, I see you. Thank you for the shares, guys. Jojo, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's gonna be a touchy subject in just a little bit. You're not in the Discord? All right, give me a second. Hold on a second. It's gonna be a touchy subject in just a little bit. You're not in the Discord? All right, give me a second. Hold on a second. Okay. I'm like, okay. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Good morning, Carrie. I see you. Thank y'all for the shares. So, I want to do something real quick. Kind of shift the energy a little bit, right? I haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to do it. We're going to do the personality and color. The personality and color test. So I need everybody to put in their favorite color in the chat. We got 7 people in here. I want to see everybody put their favorite color in the chat. So throw your favorite color in the chat for me, if you can. So I see purple, I see red. All right, so for purple, I'm not gonna read the whole thing because there's a lot. If you want to read it, if you want to read the one for purple, I will send it to you. Nat. The purple relates to imagination and spirituality. It stimulates the imagination, inspires high ideals. It is an introspective color, allowing us to get in touch with our deeper thoughts. The difference between violet and purple is that violet appears in the visible light of spectrum or rainbow, where purple is simply a mix of red and blue. Violet has the highest vibration in the visual spectrum, while violet is not quite as intense, but purple is the essence of is similar. Generally, the name of interchangeable and the meaning of colors is similar. Both contain energy and strength of red with the spirituality and integrity of blue. This union of body and soul creates balance between our physical and spiritual energy. So if anybody has purple, that is you. I see red. I see red. I see red. Oh, red is deep. That's my favorite color too, by the way. The red is warm and positive. It's a warm and positive color associated with our most our physical needs and our will to survive. It exudes strong and powerful masculine energy. Red is energizing. It's exciting. The emotions, the motivation to take action. It signifies a pioneer spirit and a leadership quality, promoting ambition and determination. It's also strong-willed and can give confidence to those who are shy or lacking in willpower. Being the color of physical movement, and the color red awakens our physical life form. It is the color of sexuality and stimulating deeper and intimate passions in us, such as love, X on a positive side, or revenge and anger on a negative side. So depending on where you are in life, red can be good or a bad thing. I see white. Let me see here. So for white is the color at its most complete and purest form. The color of perfection. The psychological meaning of white is purity, innocence, wholeness, and completion. In psychology, white is the color of new beginnings, wiping the slate clean, so to speak. It is the blank canvas waiting to be written upon. While white isn't stimulating to the senses, it opens the way of creation of anything the mind can conceive. White contains equal balance of all colors in the spectrum, representing both the positive and the negative aspects of color. Its basic features is equality, implying fairness and imparity, neutrality, independence. It is interesting to note that babies come from the world with the perfect balance of white, ready to imprint their lives with all colors of the spectrum, hopefully from all their experiences of life. So who else would I have? I had white, I had teal. So teal is kind of like a green, right? Teal is like a greenish blue. So your spirituality and thank you. Spirituality and integrity for the most part. But the green is like is like balance and harmony. So you have a level of balance and harmony plus integrity and spirituality, Sheila. So you're kind of like the mixture of all that into one. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Grand Rising, good morning. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yours favorite is purple. Where did you find this information? I will put it in the Discord for you guys. Solo, you said you had yellow. I got you. So solo yellow, it relates to acquired knowledge. It is the color which resonates with the left or logic side of the brain, stimulating our mental faculties and creating mental agility and perception. I've never read yellow before. That's the first time me reading yellow. Being the lightest hue of the spectrum, the color of psychology of yellow is uplifting and illuminating, offering hope, happiness, cheerfulness, and fun. In the meaning of colors, yellow inspires original thoughts and inquisitiveness. Yellow is creative from a mental aspect, the color of new ideas, helping us to find new ways of doing things. It's the practical thinker, not the dreamer. That's deep. Topic today is toxic relationships. Toxic relationships in the friendships and the family, guys. Good morning, homie. How are you, brother?
Good morning. Let's go.
So yeah, we aligned to being a Gemini. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all right, Mama G. You handle what you need to handle. No worries. We got you covered over here. We got quite a few people. We got quite a few mods here. So if you can't stay, don't worry about it. You're good. You're good. Toxic relationships. Love you too. Toxic. So if you guys were here last week when we talked about the relationship aspect and the romantic relationship aspect of toxic relationships, if you haven't seen or wasn't in the live, it is available on YouTube. So if you guys want to go watch that video later today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's available on YouTube. If you're not following me on YouTube, go on YouTube and type in Mind Your Mental, and you'll be able to find us. You'll see I had quite a few episodes. I got like 6, 7 episodes already, and a couple of snippets. So if you guys want to go rewatch Toxic Relationships Part 1, definitely go watch that. There's some interesting stuff being said in there. We had Laura Herrera bless us with her presence, and that was a dope experience. So I hope everybody enjoyed that experience the way that I did when she came through. Hormiga.
Yes, sir.
Hormiga, how did you feel about last week?
I feel as though there was a significant amount of information that was shared, but significant does not mean complete because it's based on a level of a person's understanding and satisfaction level. That is a good word to use today, satisfaction level, because what satisfies you does not satisfy everyone. So we cannot project that everyone understands things the way we understand things and everyone is satisfied with the information that was shared.
Gotcha. Okay. Sis, welcome in.
In other words,
Welcome
don't
in.
settle. Don't settle for just one podcast. We tell you go out there and do the work. Go out there and do the research. Just don't take our word for it because you could be going out there and finding out more tidbits of information, but don't do it in a competitive way like I'll show you because this is not about who's the smartest. This is about who is able to take a step back and share information together so we can all grow together.
Absolutely. Agreed. 100%. 100%. Welcome in, sis. What's going on with you? How was the rest of your life?
It was great. It was great. It felt good.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The numbers are growing. I see. I've seen it. I love it.
Gentlemen.
I'm starting my share now.
Yeah, I got to share mine too. I seen the Discord pull up. I appreciate you guys being here. Let me see. I just want to share it out to Facebook. I'll be right back.
Oh man, today's that day.
What day?
We got the activity, the back to school supply event going on today.
Nice.
Everybody's calling me and I'm like, don't call me, call my pops, please.
Grand Rising, everybody. Welcome in. Oh man, Hermiga, that was an amazing session this morning. It was different.
Sorry, I'm back, guys. I'm back. Soul Star, welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. All right. I don't know where to start with this, man, because it's so much. It's just so much.
Well, you know what? Why don't you start with, and I'm not telling you what to do, but my suggestion is start telling people that, you know what's funny? That whenever you mention relationships, toxic relationships, their first go-to is their mate. The first toxic relationship that you encounter is your parents.
Yes.
All right. So, and then after that, after the dust settles, and after you've been through one or two hardships, relationship wise, then you start realizing how toxic you are and what role you play because the first true relationship that you have is the one with yourself, right? And then from there you can build on. But you got to kind of debunk all the other bad toxic relationships that you've encountered before you get to that self-reflection.
You know what's even crazy? So I think the one thing that we didn't have the ability to do like early on, was to indicate the red flags and the signs. Not within our like romantic relationships, but the relationships with our parents and family. Right? We didn't have the abilities, we didn't have the thought process or the education behind identifying the signs and red flags. Because we, excuse me, because we thought the way that our parents were with us and our family was with us was okay, especially at a young age, where we thought that was an okay thing. But the older that we got, Melania, welcome in. The older that we got, we realized there's something off about this. Like there's something really off about this. Like there's no way that this is okay. Um, and the older that you got, the more you realize that the toxic relationship did start in your household with your family and your friends and your mother and your father and your sister and your brother. That started there. That's why we got so comfortable.
And TV too.
TV is a big thing. That's a huge one. That's a huge one. TV is a huge one. The things that you consume, the things that you watch, um, it's so much.
Now
It's
the
just
commercials. Now the commercials. Like for the younger people, for all the younger people, right? Your toxicity is social media and commercials. Back in the days, older cats like myself, TV, commercials, parental environment. Remember back in the days we used to go outside. Kids don't go outside anymore. So that's a whole different ballgame.
So, and also keep in mind, right? Not everybody's family situation is the same. Okay, so some people might resonate, some people might not.
Right.
In regards to this, so just be mindful of that. Um, I know a lot of us probably was raised in great homes, right? Had great parents, loving parents. You know what I'm saying? They supported you, they communicated with you, they did all of that, right? And then you have households of minds that is pure chaos. You know what I'm saying? That people don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to express their feelings. They just don't really talk. You know, emotions are not there. So, you know, we thought that was okay to not show emotions in our household, in the household. We just moved like it was normal until I got older and realized there's something wrong with this. Why is that the women in my household, the household, my mom, my aunt, sister, just never show emotions. Like they were just hard all the time. Pause. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like it never made any sense to me until I got older and I started teaching myself about these things. You know what I'm saying? And realized like they lack the ability to show emotion. And you would think as a woman that's something that's a part of you. No, that's not how that works. Like they really lack the ability to show emotions. Like they lack the ability to cry when they're upset, like things of that nature. Like none of that happened. I rarely seen it happen. So
May I interject one very
so,
big, not, I'm just going to put it out there because it is very relevant in your situation. Your family is from Haiti. So you have cultural differences that aren't norms for here.
right.
So they may, I'm not absolutely sure, but I will have to say that a part of me strongly feels that maybe that is something that is culturally not accepted, or the women in that society may have to be extra strong or extra hard for whatever reasons, be it just being able to sustain themselves in that environment where your family is from. So we also have to take those factors into consideration whenever we're discussing why our family members are the way that they are. You know, like my grandmother on my father's side will react completely different to the same stimulus that my grandmother on my mother's side would, because they're completely two different cultures. So that's also a factor in which we have to put that into play whenever we're having this discussion, is we have to think about the demographics, where we're from, you know, not just from the US, but also where our ancestors come from, what was embedded in us, you know, all of that.
That's actually that's big though, because cultural environments play a definite role. Because I know for a fact in the Haitian community, emotions are not something that's shown. Like that's just being honest. It's not something that's really shown. The men don't show it. The women rarely show it. So it's like you're kind of just there trying to figure it out.
And on
You
top
know,
of that, some of the most humble people. Oi, oi, shout out to the Haitian people. Let's go.
facts.
That's wow. Isn't it contradicting?
It's
How
it's crazy. Like it's crazy because it's like they're the most like we're the most giving, supporting. We open our arms to everybody. We open our doors to everybody. Right. We never shy anybody away. But emotions are not there. It's weird. Like it's a weird dynamic. But it's like but for me it made sense because I seen the things that they've done for people, right? In my family, I've seen the things that they've done. They've opened their doors for everybody, and they gave everybody a place to stay, food, clothes on their back, always giving to the community. Like they've done all of that, but the emotions was never there. It was a little off for me, right? Because especially when I started to learn about myself in that situation, I started to see that I was balanced in that environment. Like I can not show emotions, but show emotions at the same time. It was a little weird for them too, because it was like they've never seen me be able to kind of like push away if I have to push away. You know what I'm saying? Like they never seen
Teddy,
that. But it was
quick question about the culture.
uh,
Did you find that the Haitian culture, like some other cultures, that they do more outside for the people outside the home than they do for the actual home because they feel like the people that are already in the home have a sense of entitlement because you're already in the home as opposed to those that need help from outside the home?
yes,
That's wild.
absolutely, absolutely. But I'm telling you, I've seen my mom and my aunt give to others effortlessly. Like when I'm telling you, without even thinking, they'll give to others, right? But in the household, everybody's just like kind of like doing their own thing. Like they're not really, you know what I'm saying? It was like the weirdest. It was very weird. Um, but I had to break that habit because it was just like I had to break that curse because I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to have to not give to my friends and family and then give to the community as well. I wanted to do all. You know what I'm saying? So I had to, first of all, I had to get out that house for one, right? I had to get out of there. If anybody knows the situation of my household, Mika knows. Mika knows. I didn't really have space to breathe. There was just too many people living in the house. To me, that was toxic as fuck.
You're not
Like,
alone, brother. You're not alone. You're not
you know
alone.
what I'm saying? To me personally, that was toxic as hell because I didn't have any breathing room to do what I needed to do or try to excel from what I'm doing now. It was just like I just had these four corners, these four walls. That's it. That's all I seen was four walls.
First of all, if you would have explained to them or show them what you're doing now, they would have thought you was bugged out back then. They would have said they would have thought something was wrong with you.
The only person that's able to see what I'm doing is my aunt. She actually sits there and pays attention. She comes into my lives. I didn't even know that she comes into my lives. The only person that comes into my lives is my aunt.
He's an op.
That's it. That's it. The only person. I get text messages from her telling her how proud of me she is. She's proud of me. Like she sees what I'm doing and she sees the growth. She pays attention on Facebook. Like she does all of that. She pays attention to everything that I'm doing. She's the only person. Not a single person in my family pays attention to anything that I'm doing but my aunt. The only person that I get messages from throughout the day. That's it. Not a single soul in my family tells me how proud they are. They ask me for favors though. They ask me for everything. Can I borrow this? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? But not a single person will ever tell me that they're proud of me besides my aunt. Because my aunt's been paying attention. So
So we
and
have
that right there is just the toxicity It's just a little bit of the toxicity in your family, right? Just a little bit. That's not even like half of it. That's not even near the half of it. That's just a little bit of a jab of what it looks like when they ask you for favors and they ask you to do this and they ask you to do that. But yeah, they don't recognize anything else that you're doing for yourself.
Is that when they throw the blood is thicker than water phrase at you?
You know what? I've never got that phrase, but their actions show it.
That's funny. They expect it. They don't even have to say it.
You don't even have to say it. The action shows that they think blood is thicker than water.
Well, when we do that, I'm gonna segue into something else too about that not even just the blood thing, it's just the sense of entitlement when it comes to asking for favors. I've found that even in friend relationships, some people are very entitled or feel entitled to something because they've been there or with you through a certain amount of time or whatever. But I will tell you that I get so many requests just sent to me, Cash App requests, without any phone call, nothing. Just send me this amount of money. You know what I mean? Or I always get that phone call, or I get that text message. Can I hold on to this for 3 days and blah, blah, blah. But yet no one ever calls and says, hey, how you doing? That to me is toxic.
Tamika, because you don't need it. Because you are so grounded and you're so balanced and you're so educated and so advanced and so happy all the time that you don't need it.
Yeah, so.
And I'm being sarcastic because we're all human beings.
I know you are, brother. Like, I know for a fact that you are. But because they assume that everything is whatever, and no one ever asks, hey, how's everything going with you? Or, do I need anything? No one ever asks that. I very rarely get that. So I understand how you feel, or anybody giving you any accolades about how you're doing. Or I get this from my family, right? Omega, since you brought it up, we're just going to unpack this and I'm going to let it go because I'm not going to harp on it, right? I get well, how's everything going? How's school? And I start telling them how school's going and where I'm at. And, I just did this. Oh, yeah, that's good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so how's that? It's the whole, like, I'm going to ask you about your life, but I really don't give a fuck about your life moments where I'm just like, gotcha. Don't ask me anything because you really don't want to know. You're just being formal,
Right.
Hate to say it like that, but.
Sweet Tea in the chat can contest to all of this that's been happening recently, okay? I don't answer my phone for my family at all. Like, my sister will call and I would ignore the call. My brother will call and I would ignore the call. The only person I answer the call for is my mother because I know that this situation that she's living in right now, and she does not want to be living in that situation. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of forced. It's kind of forced on her at this point because everybody's been there for so long and she's not about to put family out on the street. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not how my mom moves. She doesn't operate like that. So she's kind of living in a state where she's uncomfortable, but she has to be uncomfortable in order to make other people happy. And having that conversation with her was tough because I told her, I said, as much as I love you guys, I need not to talk to you guys every single day. I can't be around you guys every single day. I can't. It's just not healthy for me to be around you guys. Like the longer I stay away, the easier my balance and my boundaries become. You know what I'm saying? And the only person that sees that right now is my mom because I have that conversation with her when I talk to her. You know what I'm saying? And I had to let them realize that, listen, I still love you guys. I still fuck with you guys. But my peace and my boundaries are more important. Go ahead.
Speaking of boundaries, when you set those boundaries with people and they maintain them, you realize how peaceful your life is, but also it makes you hyper aware of how much you reached out to people, how much you were the person that initiated stuff. So when you fall back and you just let things fall where they may, and you choose you, and that's a form of self-love, is choosing your peace over anything else, right? I noticed that even the invitations, because I put up such a boundary with my family that now when they call and ask for anything, they ask me to bring my grandmother over for family events. Can you bring Aunt Mary over for this event? And then there's no invite from me or my husband. And then I'm like,
Appreciate you
sure.
coming through.
You know what I mean? I'm like, sure. You feel where I'm going from because of those boundaries. Um, but the thing is just like, I wouldn't have had to set that boundary if you had asked if I could come in the first place.
I'm gonna meet you where you are. I'm gonna meet you where you are. You ready for
You
this?
see where I'm going with
That
that,
was
I'm
right?
gonna meet you where
that
you
was
are.
a
You ready?
ouch. That was an ouch.
You ready for this though?
Yeah.
You ready for this?
That was
I'm
an
gonna
ouch
give
moment.
you a bigger ouch moment. You ready for this? There has been 3 birthdays and 2 graduations that's passed, and I haven't been invited to. You know why? Because I created my boundaries, and they didn't like that. So instead of inviting me to my cousin's graduation or the birthdays, they all went out to dinner. They did all types of stuff. Like I seen it on social media. I seen it all on social media, and all I did was laugh at it because it's like I know why y'all doing that. I'm not stupid. You're not gonna play these games with me because it's not gonna work, right? For people that haven't done the work or that haven't created those boundaries, it would hurt them excessively. It would be bad. Like it would hurt your soul. It would hurt your body. It didn't hurt me at all. It didn't bother me not one bit. Like not even a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that and me being me, I liked it. I hearted it. Happy birthday! I hope you guys enjoyed the day. I kept it positive. You know what I'm saying? But I know it bothered them because the second I wrote that, my sister called my phone.
Well, I created some firm boundaries with my family after I got sick. And I used to put everything on Facebook because that's the only way that I had contact with my family members, right? And I thought that I was creating a vlog for my family members because, I was, in that moment, I was slowly leaving, right? So for those 2 years, it was all about, this is where I'm at, I'm sick, blah, 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 I'm in the hospital, but this is how I'm feeling. And I was literally just pouring out all of my emotional stuff on social media, thinking it's just for my family because that'll give them something to look at when I'm gone, right? Got into an argument, not even really an argument, a verbal
Disagreement.
disagreement with a cousin. And she said to me, the words that came out of her mouth were, you might as well just go ahead and D because we all make fun of you. You've been, you know what I mean? Like, you've been for 4 years, you might as well just go ahead.
Wow.
Right? And I looked and I said, really? Right? We make fun of you. And I said, and I stopped because I was like, is this how the whole family feels? Right? And everybody's like, no, we don't make, and she's steadily verbal diarrhea, right? Going off at the mouth because she's upset. I said something that triggered her to at me.
Right.
And you might as well just go ahead and I said, you know what? And then I had an aunt, my grandmother's sister, say, the reason why I didn't call to check up on you is because I could find out how you were doing on Facebook. I didn't need to call you because I knew how you were doing. Right? I'm in the hospital. One of the 14 freaking procedures I had, right? Y'all know that my story it was tumultuous back then, right?
Right.
So when I'm thinking I'm supposed to have that support from my family, no, because they said that they could get it on social media. So after that phone conversation, I said, well, I'm just going to let you know that that's the last time you'll be able to say that to me. Because unless you pick up the phone You will not know anything that's going on in my life because I will no longer put anything on social media updating you where I am with my health. Right? And I said, you'll have to pick up the phone. And I said to my other cousin, I said, since you all like to make fun, you might as well just go ahead and I'm not here anymore. I don't exist to you anymore. My phone number is this. I don't need to be part of this. And I totally detached myself from my family. You were there when I detached myself from my family.
I remember that.
And I said goodbye to my entire family. And guess what happened? I became peaceful, right? But not just that, I was also that outcast because of the fact that I had embraced my spirituality, right? I embraced becoming a shaman and I started living in my truth and then became an outcast in my family. And to me, is that if you, I have a solid family, a chosen family now without all of that toxicity. And the reason why I can talk about it is because I've lived through it and I've had those hurtful things said to me. I've had my heart broken so many times that it's just like, whatever. Now it becomes something that you expect from people. The only thing I expect people to do now is to be who they are, you know? And like I have such a tighter knit family nucleus now than I've ever had in my life. And I'm happier now. And over half of the people that are related to me are not my blood members. I have so many brothers and sisters, so many cousins, so many aunties, so many replacement moms, so many replacement grandmoms. You feel where I'm coming from? So when you let go of stuff, you really do make room for new.
Absolutely. Every time.
When you choose you choose your peace, you choose to not feed into it because what happens to you, you only allow that to happen to you. Right? I'm not a victim of any of that. I allowed that to happen to me because I accepted it in that moment. Then I created as no longer a victim. You know, when you start realizing some shit and you start boom, 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 boom.
Every time.
Your life is, and then everybody's just like, you're not lonely? No, I'm not lonely at all because I'm never alone.
You know what? The one person, right? The one person that stuck by me from all of this that I was going through, that's even before I met you guys, right? Was my best friend Ariana. And she watched the things that I went through with my family, right? She's seen the ups and downs. And also my other best friend, I call her G Girl. I'm not gonna put her name on here because she don't like that. But they watched everything, right? And there was things I didn't tell them. And there was things I never told them, but they felt my energy and they knew something was off. You know what I'm saying? So I would speak to them about certain things. I would talk to them about certain things, open up about certain things. And even G Girl was like, listen, if you ever wanted to move out and live with me, you could have, but you chose not to. I don't know why, but you chose not to. I said, because I felt like I could stick it out. I was like, I felt like I can handle it. You know what I'm saying? Not realize I was doing more damage to me than good by sticking around in an environment where I should have never been in the first place. Not saying that, it was just for me, the environment wasn't enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't enough love there. There wasn't enough support there. There wasn't enough for me to feel like I was a part of the family. I felt like the black sheep of the family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like that, even though that's not the title that was given to me, but the energy around the house felt like I was the black sheep for the family. You know what I'm saying? For the longest time, everybody's like, oh, you're going to be like your sister. You're going to be like your sister. Your sister can never get...
I remember you saying that a lot.
Yeah, they said that so much to the point where I thought that was something that, that was really going to happen until, I found my calling. You know what I'm saying? I found my blueprint that God laid out for me, and I didn't shy away from the blueprint anymore. You know what I'm saying? You guys are going to hear me say that a lot because it's so factual. Like, because I've avoided that blueprint for so long, and every time I avoided that blueprint, my life went to the wayside. Every time. It never went right. Everything always went wrong every time I didn't follow the blueprint that he created for me. So when I started following the blueprint that he created for me, that's when I started creating the isolation that I created towards my family and certain friends. You know what I'm saying? And one of the one of the friends that I had was friends with her for 10.5 years. 10.5 years. Think about how long that is. 10.5 years. I've been friends with her. I've watched her child grow up. I've watched the ups and downs. I've watched all of it. And one day, right, I let her borrow some money because it wasn't for her. It was for my nephew because he needed school clothes, right? She didn't have it. So I let her borrow the money. I told her when you get that money back, I do need it back. You know what she did? She blocked me. Now, the thing about Rhode Island is very small, everybody. So I'm gonna see you regardless. I'm gonna run into you. No matter what the situation is, we're gonna run into each other because we run in the same circle. So I'm gonna run into you. And sure enough, G girl ran into her because I told her what happened, and she was like, "Listen," I said, "I don't know what happened with you and Emmanuel, but that money you're gonna have to send that back to him like ASAP." And the second she said that, I got a cash app. Bing! I got a cash app. I got a cash app with the money I said with the money I said to her immediately. Like when I'm telling you, the people that ride for me, is because my energy towards whoever it is doesn't change. I'm the same person on here that I am off here. There's no switching up who I am as a person. So if you make the conscious decision to do me wrong and think that people are not paying attention, people are paying attention. Okay? So be mindful of that. When you have good energy and you have a positive energy, just be very mindful of the people that support that person. Like, be very mindful of the people that support that person because nothing you think that you're gonna do is just gonna be hidden underneath. It's gonna come to the surface every time. So just be mindful of that. When you have toxic people in your life, nothing is gonna go positive for that person once they start doing the positive person wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it never goes the way that they want it to go. And that goes for friends and family. You know what I'm saying? That goes for both. So when you see somebody doing you wrong, don't ask no questions. Just let it happen. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in life and you're moving in your purpose, don't even ask no questions. Who's calling? Who's trying to come up? So at 10:30, guys, I'm gonna let everybody up for Q&As. Don't ask no questions. Just be authentically you. You know what I'm saying? Just be authentically you. And just understand that what you're doing, if you feel like what you're doing is on the right path, if you're following the path that God created for you, if your faith is as strong as you claim that it is, and you're following within his blueprint for you, then follow that path. It's not for everybody to understand. Just to keep that in mind. That path is for you and only you. And for the people that align with you, if they really align with you, they will understand your path and they will understand your journey. And that goes, and if you have to cut off blood to make that path work, if you got to cut off friends to make that path work, if you got to quit that 9 to 5 that you hate so much so you can start your business, you know what I'm saying? Like, follow that path. You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do for you. Don't think that it's just like, because I'm telling you, if you don't follow the blueprint, you're going to run into the same situation that I ran into. I promise you, I ran into a brick wall maybe 4 or 5 times, thinking that I could create my own path, and I couldn't. So, to avoid running into that brick wall that is the toxic relationship of family and friends and just toxic life in general, right? Just follow the path that he's given you. I promise you, it's such a big difference when you follow his path. But into the friendship aspect of things, man, you gotta be able to differentiate who's for you and not for you when it comes to the friendship, because I've watched this happen and not to pick on Mika, right? But even me and Mika had this conversation where she latches to people very easily. We've had that conversation with me and Mika. When
Easily
she
glamored.
latches to people.
I'll put it that way. I'm easily glamored because I want to see the love.
That's what she used as a term, easily glamored. And it hurts me sometimes because I see how people would latch onto her and then out of nowhere just switch. Because I've been rocking with her for a minute now, and I've never switched up on her. My energy's never switched up. I mean, we've had our hiccups, but we've never switched, right? But I'm glad that she's learning, right? She's starting to pay attention to these things, and she's listening to her energy. And when she can't listen to her energy, she either calls me or somebody in the family to have a conversation with.
Yeah, I rely a lot because I know Hamika's probably going to jump in my shit, but I'm just going to say it. I know what my calling is, and I know that part of that calling has a lot of sacrifice because there might be people. If I put a guard up, I I may overlook someone who really needs help. Do you know what I'm saying? So if
Mm-hmm.
I completely just shield that, then I'm not walking within my purpose. And I know with my purpose, there comes a certain amount of, and for lack of a better word, pain that comes with that. But with that, those are lessons that I learn and I navigate through them. So it's like I want to put up that big brick wall around my heart, but I know that I truly, honestly, I wouldn't be who I am if I do,
Right.
you
I'll
know?
leave with you, bro.
And so there's a way of finding balance. So when I start getting the intuition, I call that my spidey sense. I call you guys and I'm like, hey, what you guys think about this? Or watch this
Bro.
behavior, or just watch this interaction with me and this person. I'll ask other people because you all have a more cynical eye than I do, and I'll put it that way. But you guys also see things differently than me, and that's the reason why I have certain people around me all the time that will not go anywhere because you guys, we have a love for each other and we balance each other out. Where y'all are hard, and I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say I'm soft because I do have a side to me. Like I'm very tough. I'm resilient. But there's a nurturing side where you guys are more like no. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, but I say no. I say, come here, baby. Let me pat you on the back. But I'm looking at y'all like I'm aware of what I'm seeing, but I still have to go through with what I do. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So it's sort of like now we have an understanding because you were just like, no, Mika. Like, that bitch is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, but I still have to help this person.
You know what it is for me.
I just had to print something out. I'll be right back.
You know what it is for me. Like my empath, I've embraced my empathic energy. I've embraced my empathic energy, and I know a lot of men haven't really embraced that part of themselves yet. They're not there yet, but I'm there.
You reluctantly got there.
I did. Absolutely. Reluctantly, I
Interesting.
definitely got there. Same thing with being a coach. I reluctantly got there because it's like I didn't really know if I really wanted to do this or not. I actually was on a pod. I was actually on YouTube, on Facebook, doing an interview with another coach, and and she asked me. She's like, "At what moment do you feel like this was too much for you?" I said, I wanted to quit all of this. Like, I did. At one point, I wanted to quit all of this. I was like, I was mentally tired. I was emotionally drained. I was physically drained. And I just didn't want to do this no more. I said, but I know my calling, so I just took a couple of weeks off, and then I dived back into it. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to my friends, when it comes to my family, because I don't have friends, I have family. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to my family, the people that I truly care about, if I see something that don't look right, whether they agree with it or not, I'm gonna vocalize it. It might cause an argument, might cause a disagreement, but at the end of the day, I'd rather you be mad at me for telling the truth, and then you see it for yourself, than me just not say it at all. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the one thing that I've learned that always causes the problem. Because when I don't say it, and then they see it, and then I'd be like, I seen it the whole time. Then they'd be like, damn, why didn't you say nothing? No. Because I know how you move. So there's certain times where I can't say shit. Because regardless if I say it or not, you're not gonna be listening. And that's not for everybody. That's for some people. Go ahead.
Right. And I will have to say that you probably directing that towards me too a little bit,
A little bit. Just a little bit. I love you though.
but I will have to tell you this: I would much rather you, and I'm talking about anybody. I would much rather you tell me the truth and hurt my feelings, because I can get over those hurt feelings, right? But what I can't do is regain that trust and respect when you lie to me and I find out that you lied to me and I lose respect for you.
That's true. Absolutely.
Coming from, so I'd rather you tell me the truth and hurt my feelings than lie to me and then I find out that you lied, because I'm going to know, I feel it when you're lying. When it's coming out of your mouth, I know that you're lying. And then I lose all respect, because respect is hard to get back.
Very much so. Very much so.
Well, Mika's too quiet. I'm scared.
Oh no,
No.
Oh, believe me, I've been grinding my teeth. Trust me.
Go ahead, take the floor, brother.
Well, look, I'll say this. When it comes to this advice that we're giving people, we have to understand that sometimes people don't know that they need the help. Sometimes they don't know it. And sometimes they're asking for help, but they themselves don't know what's best for them, because they're looking for a temporary solution. They're looking for a quick fix. And usually a quick fix comes with a dopamine hit, something that they need to just push it to the side so that they can go through their day. Here's the problem. The problem is that when we are helping people, we have to stop trying to determine what's best for them. We have to help them see themselves what's best for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, if we keep determining what's best for them, then what they're going to do is that they're going to depend on what we say, and then that gives them a place to point the finger when things go wrong.
Agreed.
So we got to be very careful, because what works for us doesn't work for everybody. We've had this conversation about meeting people where they're at, meeting people where they're going, meeting people where they come from. Let's stop meeting people. How about we introduce them, or give them a chance to introduce themselves to themselves?
Yep.
Self-reflection. But that self-reflection can be dangerous. It depends on who's the self-reflecting, right? Because now let's take it a step further. Imagine you're the one that's the toxic friend and the toxic family member.
Well,
We didn't go there yet, right? We talked about the toxic person that did it to us and the experiences that we had. But what if you're the one that's the toxic family and the toxic friend, and didn't realize that you're the one that's the toxic friend and the toxic family member?
What do you do when you find out? That to me is the determining factor of everything. Is okay, yeah. You find out that you were the issue what do you do then? What you do then determines whether or not you stay in my life.
Right.
See,
Okay.
that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, this is just the way I function. I don't throw nobody out of my life. I don't get rid of anyone. You get rid of yourself, because I'm going to look at my standards and boundaries, and I'm going to say, hey, these are my standards and boundaries. you have to respect them. But the funny thing is that we want more from other people that we are willing to give to ourselves. How are you going to expect somebody to respect your standards and boundaries when you don't respect your own standards and boundaries?
No,
Yeah.
that's fact. That's facts.
You understand what I'm saying? Because now, let's say Tamika says, "Hey, Aunt, this is my standard, this is my boundary," and then Teddy comes, "Hey, Aunt, this is my standard and this is my boundary." Okay, but then I see you somewhere else violating your own code. Then I see you talking to somebody else. It's okay for you to be a fool with
What's
somebody
good,
else,
Malik?
but it's not okay for you to keep it real. In other words, you expect me to respect your standards and boundaries, but there are other people that is allowed to play with them.
But
Ooh,
not
okay.
consistent.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I like that.
Think about that. Like, how are we
No,
going to
no,
expect
no.
more
I'm
from
with
other
you.
people than we do for ourselves?
I'm with you. I'm right there. I'm right there with you with that because that's true. I've seen it. I've seen it in friendships. I've seen it in friendships. Like they allow one person to do X, Y, and Z, but that other person they kind of they hold them to a standard of their boundaries, but they let this other person do whatever they want, no matter what. They can talk to them however they want. They can do whatever they want. They can act however they want. But then this other person, when they even attempt to do that,
Don't do that.
don't do that. You're not even that. We're not there yet for you to be doing that. Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. Trust and believe. I've
That's
seen it.
what I'm talking about. Toxic relationships. You're creating toxic relationships if you treat people differently. If you give people a pass, this is what it sounds like, ladies and gentlemen. And for those that are reaching out to me, I cannot see what's going on. I'm busy. I'm doing a bunch of things at the same time, so I'm tapping in whenever I can. But I want to show you guys, listen to what this sounds like. Oh, well, this person gets special treatment because we go way back. You don't understand our relationship. No, ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand your own relationship.
I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna take it a step further. If you are still the same person in your growth, in your journey, and in your process as you was 10 years ago, that's the reason why that person feels comfortable. That's the reason why that person feels so comfortable to still sitting within the standards and boundaries that you created 10 years ago. It's supposed to elevate and grow every 7 years.
But hold up. But let's not forget about the person that we are comfortable around because they tolerate our shit.
That's for certain people, not for everybody. Certain people, right?
There's always
Because
somebody. There's always somebody that we have that we know that has taken more
I
shit
got
from us than anybody else.
I got rid of that. I got rid of that person.
No, Diamond is taking a lot of shit from me because she's just my person I vent to, but she doesn't put up with my bullshit. I'll put it that way. She'll call me on it. There's a difference, I think, of being that person. And I know there are people that come to me and I tolerate a lot of shit, but they know that there are boundaries when it comes to those things.
Same.
You
Look,
know,
hold on. One of my best friends told me one time. He said, "Just because you're not willing to deal with your own bullshit doesn't mean that I have to."
No, because it's facts. The fuck is it? That's facts.
y'all
What do you
know. I
mean?
think both of you guys know me well enough to know that I'll call bullshit when I see bullshit.
Don't come to me with your bullshit and think that I'm about to deal with it if you're not gonna deal with that shit. Because I'm gonna hurt your feelings.
I'll look at what you got to do about that. Like, don't come to me with your problems if you don't have a resolution or any, you know what I mean? I can vent, I can be there to let you vent, but I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to help you heal you, not fix you.
I'm actually working with a close friend of mine now. She's going through her process, but she's not. She don't know what it looks like to go through that process. So it's like it's very difficult for me to not wear the hat of a friend. You know what I'm saying? Because like she's never been through that process, but I'm learning to leave that coach hat on and kind of guide her through the process and try to see the things that she needs to see in herself without me actually giving her too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like right now I had her write the pros and cons that she sees within herself before I even have a conversation with her. And then I sent her a couple of books that she can purchase as well. So that way that can kind of help her through that process. But it's just like sometimes you do have that heart for that person because you want to see them do good. You want to see them be better. But then you realize they have so many other people around them that's causing, the shift for them not wanting to be the better version of themselves. And it's difficult because you can't be, it's difficult to battle 10, 20 other people that's around this person, giving them the negative, giving them all this negative energy and negative environment. You're just one person that's really battling 20 other people. You know what I'm saying? That gets difficult.
Hey Teddy, I think that went over a couple of people's heads. So let me give a different example. For those that are not following what's happening, it's the same thing as a parent when you're trying to school your kid, but then your kid goes to Tommy's house, your kid goes to school, your kid goes outside, and everything that you teach your kid, they come back and they say, but that's not how Tommy's family does it. But hold up, I learned a new way of doing it. So for those that don't understand and it goes over your head, here you have a person that's actually telling you the truth, that wants to put you in the best possible position, but you have so many other negative toxicities around you. Let me give you another example. A friend of mine came to me and he said, hey, Anthony, am I a toxic person? Am I a narcissist? I said, I don't know. Are you? He goes, well, I don't know what to do. I said, well, what's the plan? He goes, I don't have a plan. I said, yes, you had a plan. Your plan was to come to me.
Yeah.
But you need to stop listening to your wife only when she says negative things about you.
Ooh,
Wow.
damn.
I remember you talking about this, friend Hormiga.
Like shit.
Hey,
Like,
have you guys ever known me to take a break and curb my enthusiasm when it comes to giving advice? No, right?
No.
oh, no, absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not. But no, but it's facts. So you also got, damn. I didn't want to talk about the romantic relationship again. Goddamn it, Hormiga. But what he said is right. You got to also know the person that you're with, too, right? And this is not just for people that are just in regular relationships. People that are married, you got to relearn your spouse. You got to relearn your spouse because they do grow. Whether they're growing with you or growing without you, they do grow within the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So you got to relearn your spouse. I'm sure CW and Mika had to relearn each other.
Oh
Like,
yeah, every 7 years.
you know what I'm saying? So be mindful of that. It's a job.
When you
It's a
start to be
job.
with somebody for over decades,
Yeah. Speak about it a little bit. Speak about it a
yeah,
little bit.
you have to realize that we evolve. I think every 7 years we change. We change. And it's up to you to communicate openly with your spouse or your partner, um, and to have that open dialogue with your significant other, while you're growing, and then realizing that you are also changing, and recognizing that the change starts with you, because more often than not in relationships, what I've seen is I'm changing, my spouse isn't changing, and this is just a hypothetical. I'm changing, my spouse isn't evolving with me, then all of a sudden my spouse is the problem. Okay,
Okay.
but I'm the one that's changing because it's my evolution. It's part of my evolution. You're not always going to evolve at the same pace,
Right.
right? um CW's 7 year might be this year,
Right.
mine may have been last year,
Right.
but us together, I reflect every 7 years together as a couple, and we revisit where each other are, whether or not we are together with our aligned goals as a couple of what we were set out to do when we got married. you know, if we still are in love with each other, if we still like each other, you know, because as you are growing and as you're evolving, your tastes in things change, you know, and it's that to me is it takes a lot of emotional intelligence and a lot of emotional maturity to recognize that, you know, your spouse isn't the problem, that you have changed and that you guys just need to have a discussion instead of harping on what they're not doing. Tell them what you like that is different and why
Mhm.
that has changed in you. You know what I mean? If that
Yeah,
makes any sense,
that
what I'm
does
trying
make
to say.
it does make sense. You see, there's a little bit of tradition in there. See, the whole thing about this is I want everybody to pay attention really quickly. Stop with the eggs, stop with the vanilla shakes, stop with the jiggling and the twerking, stop with the bullshit right now. Listen to what I'm about to say. One of the biggest contradictions in any relationship, even one with yourself, your kids, your spouses, your co-workers, your students, your teachers, your friends, one of the biggest disparities is one person is open minded, the other person is not. If somebody becomes open minded in a relationship and the other person does not become open minded, that is a recipe for disaster. It is a
Absolutely.
recipe for disaster because you're taking someone who's flexible, who's now willing to give a different perspective a chance to shine or to, how could I say this, to resonate. That is going to be one of the biggest and the most difficult things because some people, it's not that they like each other or they love each other, it's that they tolerate each other. So think about what I'm saying. If you, in order for you to grow, growth happens in different areas spiritually, mentally, physically. But growth, the biggest growth is allowing yourself to grow. And if you're not willing to learn something new, you are not allowing yourself to grow. A person that becomes open minded or always has been open minded but let it go because they wanted to accommodate the person that they're with, they get tired of that. And it comes to a point, and you don't have to wait for the 7 year itch, like Tamika's explaining, because that's that 7 year itch that every 7 years you go through let me assess everything that I've been through. Think about what I'm saying. In order for you to grow, you have to be open minded. You're going to be arguing with people that are stubborn. You're going to be arguing with people that refuse. You're going to be arguing with people that are in denial. You cannot argue with these people because it takes away from where you're going by keeping yourself in a place where people are not willing to move forward from. It's not their time.
Right.
So don't get mad at them either because it's the thing. Hey, I'm doing this. I'm losing weight. I'm eating better. I'm reading. You ain't doing nothing. Stop expecting people to grow the way you grow. Stop expecting people to understand the way you understand. Stop expecting people to function the way you do because you are being very toxic and you are projecting. Even if you want something, even if you want something good for someone, even if your intentions are good, that doesn't keep you away from being toxic. You can have good intentions and then your process is toxic, or your aggressiveness is toxic, or your inability to understand that not everybody's like you is toxic behavior.
So I want everybody to understand how important it is to not lose your individuality in your relationship with your family, your friends, or your spouse. It's a very important thing to not lose your individuality because that's when that level of codependency becomes very, very powerful. It becomes overly large. Overly large. You can't lose who you are as a person in your relationship or in whatever relationship, friendship, family ship, romantic relationship. You got to be able to maintain your individuality in that aspect because if you don't, when that relationship is over, you're not gonna know what leg to stand on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna know what leg to stand on at that point. You gotta be mindful of that. I know a lot of people, they be like, we're one. Yes, you guys are one, but you guys are also individuals who became one. Y'all didn't just be one by just being one. No, you came with your individuality, your standards and boundaries, and he had his standards and boundaries, and he had his growth, and she had her growth, and you guys came one and built this union. Whether you're married or not, it's still a union. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are, especially if you guys are living together and you guys are literally going through life together. That's a union. You guys are doing what you need to do to better each other. But you also got to pay attention to your growth. Like I said, we all grow. Pay attention to the growth and where you need to grow for yourself before her. Sir, if she cheats, then you need to leave. Boundaries and standards. Like, you know what I'm saying? Boundaries and standards. Like, if you feel like you don't want to deal with it after she does that, if you feel like you can't work it out after the fact, then leave. It's okay to walk away. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to walk away. Like I don't know who gave everybody the thought process of they have to really break themselves down to the point of nothingness to be around somebody. Like, that's not okay.
I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Cheating is not the worst thing that can happen in a relationship.
It's not. But if you mentally can't deal with it, then there's no point of you staying there.
Yeah, there isn't.
You know what I'm saying? If you mentally can't deal with it,
Comes
it's,
into
it's
play.
right. There's other things worse than cheating. There's definitely other things worse than cheating, for sure. But if you yourself mentally can't get out of the thought process of them cheating, and you can, even after you have the conversation with them and you guys go through that process of healing and it still comes back, then you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta get yourself out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you're not doing yourself any service. You're doing yourself a disservice. Right. You know what I'm saying? What if I don't know? What if you don't know what? Somebody wrote something in the chat. I think it was Soul Star. She said, if there wasn't a conversation about monogamy, then you can't blame the person who cheated. Oof. What are some examples of what, Ali? I need more. I need a little bit more than that. I'm gonna let people up at 10:30, Ali. I got you, bro. Stick around. We got about 15 minutes till we let people up in the boxes. That's your decision, sir. I don't condone cheating, so that is your decision. If you feel like that, I don't condone it, and I'm sure a lot of people here don't condone it. So if that's what you feel like you need to do, hey, more power to you. But I promise you, the transfer of energy is not going to be what you want.
I would say I think that we're kind of in the grown people space right now where we can honestly say that that is juvenile behavior. That is the get back type of thing is not something that I know that I'm not on that level. That's not on my frequency.
Yeah, I ain't got time for that. Somebody asked in the chat, and maybe Mika, you can kind of elaborate. What's worse than cheating?
Stealing from me, lying to me, betraying me. When it comes to that, lying to me. If you cheat on me and you lie to me about it, that's worse than the actual cheating. If you cheat on me and you tell me the truth about it, we can work through it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can work through it.
No, that get back is juvenile as hell.
Yeah, the get back is, but lying, being aid, you know what I mean? Somebody, any type of the A word is not acceptable. You know, and some people be like, well, cheating is a sign of abuse. No, just seeing somebody that has a wandering eye. They're not. I mean, it's because I'm open to certain things, and that's only because of where I'm at. if you're the one that is playing the karmic person, there's a thing, Black. I'm just gonna put it like this, okay? There's a thing where you have to let go and let the universe do whatever it's gonna do. You hear that saying, everybody says let go and let God. Karma is not for you to put into play.
Yeah, karma is energy,
Can't
guys.
control karma. That's the whole thing. You just have to sit back and let it happen because it will.
So the one thing I want to be mindful of, right, and as we're having this conversation of cheating, if you make the decision and the choice to cheat back, that's you being toxic, just like that person's being toxic.
And it's going to happen to you, and it's a perpetual cycle.
Exactly. We're not gonna sit there and act like the person that originally cheated isn't toxic, because yes, they're toxic as hell. But if you decide and make that choice to cheat after they cheated, you're also toxic. You know what I'm saying? You're also toxic. You're a toxic individual. Because there's no way, there's no reason why you should feel like cheating is gonna make the situation better. It's not gonna make it better. It's gonna make it worse. It's gonna make it.
Accept it, decide to let it go, and move on, or not accept it and go your separate ways.
That's that part. Because think about it this way, right? And I'm sure a lot of people don't think about it this way, so I'm about to give you guys a little gem. If you're sitting in a toxic relationship, 9 out of 10 times, you're being toxic to yourself. Because why are you allowing yourself to be involved in that situation for as long as you've been in there? There's no reason why you should be still sitting in that situation if you feel like it's not for you. If you feel like what's in that situation, what in the relationship that you're in, it's just nothing but negative, especially if you're being cheated on, or it's just not, it's not for you.
Can I,
Like,
can I say something? Because it just came to my mind. I am mature. I'm human enough to know that humans are not meant to be. We're not meant to be monogamous creatures. Okay, we are beings, right? You make the choice to be monogamous. It's a conscious decision to do that. All right. The moment that I decided that I was going to live in my truth, and I was going to accept the fact that I cannot control anything that happens around me. The only thing that I can control is how I respond. When I started living, breathing, and being that, because you see how my relationship is. My husband and I are apart for weeks at a time. If I sat here and I worried about what he is doing and try to control his every move and micromanage his mileage and do this and do that, guess what I'm doing?
time for it. I ain't got time for it, guys. I'm sorry.
driving myself nuts. I choose my peace. And I've already accepted the fact that I can't control anything that happens around me. I can't control what you do. I can't control how you're going to respond to what I'm saying. But the one factor that I can control is how I respond. And the minute that sunk into my head on in every facet of my life, peace just overtook my entire world.
I enjoy peace, man.
I do too.
I don't know about. Listen, I don't know who's here that's in that state of mind that we are in of peace. If you're not there yet, keep doing it, keep pushing. You got this. But the people that are there, don't you enjoy it? Like it's so relaxing. It's so breathtaking when you can just like wake up in the morning and just like just feel that sense of peace come over you. And for my coffee people, I know you gotta have your coffee before you have your peace, but I'm just you know what I'm saying? But for us, for the meditators, for us that meditate in the morning and get our ourself aligned the way that we need to be aligned, it's such a different feeling, right? Because it's just like when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel no ounce of negativity. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm not thinking about what could happen or what happened. I'm not thinking about none of that.
I'm just going
That-
to tell you straight up and honestly, you got to choose you, right? And I literally lost my, oh, that's what it is. I refuse to live in that frequency of fear.
Talk about it.
Okay, it's a frequency, and I'm all about frequencies. That's what I do. That's my specialty. Is sound healing. Part of that is living in my frequency, right? Being in my frequency, and I refuse to allow any past self-esteem issues I may have had, any past mental diagnoses that were placed on me. I don't live those. I'm not my diagnoses, right? I refuse to live in a state of fear where I'm afraid that this person is going to hurt me.
But
You know what I mean? And this is how I can do what I do the way that I do it. And this is what I'm talking about, loving unconditionally, right? Listen to my mindset.
I'm listening.
I expect you as a being to do exactly what you're going to do, not what I expect you to do, because I have no expectations. But I do know that I'm going to love you unconditionally.
Right.
If you hurt me, that's your karmic debt. You have to live with that hurt. You have to live with what's going to happen to you because you decided to hurt me and to take my kindness and my love for granted.
Right.
Right? Am I going to love you any less? No. Am I going to cut you out of my life? Probably not. But I am going to sit back because you now created a boundary for that. Right? So that's where I know I have to put that boundary up. And that's how I stay humble. That's how I stay out of that fear frequency. That's how I stay out of that. And because I refuse to not discuss when I have feelings or I get those uncomfortable type of conversations, whether it be with my sisters, you, my spouse, the one cousin that I'm really tight with, you know what I mean? Or my grandmama whenever she's here. You know, I am a shaman, spiritual priestess. So, yeah, so come from and used to fear for others when they cross me. They should. They should, because your ancestors don't play about you as my ancestors don't play about me.
Right.
You know, so I choose peace. Thank you. I do have a client that I have to prepare for in a few minutes. I have to cleanse myself. But I refuse to live in that fear frequency, you know, and I give credit where credit is due. I do take Laura's class. I'm in her program. Your trigger training. It helps you get over your fears and get out of that. Do you know what I mean? And it works. You know, I will be back after my client.
Okay.
Oh, snap.
So I wanna read something for y'all, right, before we start opening the boxes. And this is for everybody that's kind of in the state of I want to help everybody so bad, but I want to help, but don't know really how to stop helping people to kind of focus on me. Think about it in that aspect, and I wrote this quote the other day. You can't pour from an empty cup, but when you're toxic to yourself, you're draining the cup before you even gets a chance to fill it. And don't let that go over your head. It's really that simple. Stop being toxic to yourself. And think that you can help everybody people put everybody before you, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's like trying to cross a bridge with no resolve. Like you're crossing that bridge, but you're not. There's no transformation after you cross that bridge. You just kind of keep going in circles. You're going from bridge to bridge. No transformation involved. Just like you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be mindful of these things. Like it's really important. It's really important to understand that. You cannot force you cannot force someone to see something that their mind is incapable of perceiving. No, absolutely. I have to go to work. Yes. All right, Enchanted. You have a great day at work. Okay. Be safe out there. Um, it's important, guys. Like, really be mindful of that stuff. Like, you owe it to yourself to heal for you. Like, you owe it to yourself to heal for you. You owe it to yourself to create the boundaries for you. It doesn't have to be for everybody else. First, create the boundaries for you before you create it for everybody else. Be mindful of that. You still have to create boundaries for yourself so you know what not to deal with before you provide that boundaries to other people. Be very careful of that. You got to create boundaries for you first. For you first. Create the boundaries for you first before you create the boundaries for other people in your life. Because you also have to practice those same boundaries before you apply it for everybody. All right, sis, I'll see you in a little bit.
I'll be back in about 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Hold on.
Okay. Love you guys.
You too. So keep that in mind, guys. You have to create the boundaries for you first before you create the boundaries for anybody else. And you have to practice those boundaries effortlessly. You got to do it. Keep practicing those boundaries once you create them for yourself. Because when it's time for you to give those boundaries to everybody else, no matter who it is, right? No matter who it is, they won't be able to cross those boundaries. They won't. But I want to talk about something else, but I'm going to talk about it at 11 o'clock. And this is for the parents that have older children, right? 16 and up. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I'm still in that process. It's very unconventional for people to be. So, Marie, I think I emailed you the link to the Discord because I tried to message you to give you the link to the Discord, but your messages is not going through on TikTok. So I sent you an email a while ago. I don't know if you got it. If you didn't get it, just let me know. Yeah, I did. I sent you an email because your messages wasn't working. So it's about 10:28. So before we let everybody up, quick commercial break. Go ahead, baby, if you want to do that.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a blessed Saturday. I know that we have been talking about boundaries, so for the next half of the live, we will be taking questions and statements pertaining to the topic. We are pulling these audios from the live to go on YouTube to be listened to later on. So we'd like to keep the questions pertaining to the topic. That way it all flows. We do these quick commercial breaks, so if people want to skip over the question portion of the live, they have the choice to. The first hour and a half is for audio purposes so that people can get the information that they need, take notes, whatever the case may be. And then if they choose to stay for the question portion of the live, that's their choice. If they choose to stop listening at that time, it is the time to stop. So this is the quick commercial break. If you have not subscribed to the Mind Your Mental YouTube, we take the audio from this live, strip it, and put it onto a video where you can just listen to the audio from this live to get as much information as you need. If you have not joined the Discord yet and you would like to join the Discord, please put a thumbs up in the chat and I will send you the link to the Discord. I know a couple of people have already asked for it this morning. I've already sent out those messages. Ormiga, my brother, good morning. I know
Good
you're
morning
really
to you,
busy.
sis. Let's go.
Also, if you want to go into Mind Your Mental his link in his bio. There is merchandise. There's the Discord. There is the book link. There is everything that you could possibly need to get yourself the links to grow your mind outside of just this 3-hour live. Marie, if you'd like, I can send you the link for the Discord as well. I will make sure that I get that to you before this live is over, probably right after. We're going to start letting people open the boxes again. I ask that if you're coming up into the boxes, your questions or comments are pertaining to the actual topic, which is toxicity and healing toxic relationships. So please keep in mind we are trying to keep the questions and comments pertaining to the topic at hand. I will stay in the boxes just in case. If anybody needs anything like a link to the Discord, so on and so forth, please let me know and I will send those out as soon as possible.
Thank you so much, babe. I appreciate you. If anybody want to come up, boxes are open. Hold on. There we go. Now boxes. You can come up now, guys. I know the boxes were closed for a second. But if you guys want to come up, boxes are open. I wanted to read another quote that I created. I've been really diving into my poetry and my quotes. Man, let me tell you, I'm loving it. Because outside of what we do here on an everyday basis, I am a creative. I am an author. I do love to write and I do love to create. So I wrote this. I want to say this was like 2 weeks ago. I wrote this. I should have posted it. It says, "Remember, you are not defined by your trauma or triggers. You are the diamond that has been carefully crafted and produced from the immense pressure of life. Each hardship, every challenge, and all the pain you've endured have only added to the strength and brilliance. Like a diamond, you have been shaped and polished through adversity, emerging stronger, more resilient, and uniquely beautiful. Embrace your journey, for it has been transformed into a gem of incomparable value." And that's for everybody here. Because if you are here, you're here on working. You're here to work on yourself. You're here to learn. You're here to take the information in. Golda, welcome in, bro. And I want everybody to do well. I want everybody to be good. I want everybody to be the better version of themselves. You know what I'm saying? I want you guys to be able to walk into the light and see the shine that you have. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to see that. So if you guys have any questions, come up. I see somebody coming up, Jade. Don't be afraid to come up. You guys can send a request. We have 47 people in here. Don't shy away. Hey, Jade, welcome in. What's up, sis?
Hey, good morning, everybody. You know, I've been thinking about something, and sometimes people tell me, I don't know if you can hear me clearly because I'm on a Bluetooth. Let me know.
I hear
Good?
you.
All right, great. What I've decided to do, tell me how you all feel about relationship contracts of any kind, uh, any type of relationship that someone you're relating to, if it's necessary so that boundaries are understood to delineate what your parameters are. And most importantly, let's say in an intimate relationship, a romantic relationship, outline from the very beginning intentionally what it is that you're seeking to accomplish by relating to that person, what your future plans and goals are. How do y'all feel about contracts, relationship contracts?
I mean, it might work for others. It might work for some. In regards to something like that, me personally, I feel like the conversations that you have in the beginning of the relationship and your and your expectations, standards, and boundaries, right? Those words are the contract. To me, anyway. Like if you already set those standards and boundaries within the person that you're having a conversation with, and you guys know, and the conversations that effective conversations you guys had, right? Those words that you guys speak on daily, because me and Sweetie, we have monthly check-ins, so we make sure that everything is still aligned from day one, right? So those verbal conversations, those conversations that you guys have, are the contracts. For me, anyway. Go ahead, babe.
I think, especially with the monthly talks that we have, I think that our our contract, quote unquote, more or less gets updated every month as well. We look at what went wrong in the previous month and what went right, and we use that to gauge how we should move forward. So I don't think that the contract is set in stone when you first get together. If you do have that conversation, I think there's always room for adjustment, but you both have to be on the same page with that adjustment. You both have to be in the same mindset to say, okay, this didn't work out how we thought it was going to work out, and maybe we need to adjust to make it work better. It doesn't
Yeah.
always have to say set in stone from day one.
Ashe, sounds
Obviously,
good.
with people, obviously, if you're growing in your path, you have to understand that if you're growing in your path, things are going to change. If things aren't changing, you're not growing. So when we do make those adjustments, if we're both on the same page that, hey, we did this and it didn't work the way we expected it to, what can we do to make it better? How can we make it work for the next month or so? And then you revisit it in that month. Hey, remember when we talked about this and we decided we were going to do it this way? That worked out really well. I think we should stay on that path. And I think that's part of the reason why uh, Teddy and I have those check-ins once a month, because we both realize that not everything is going to go as planned. So we have to make sure that we're both on the same page. Hey, this didn't work out the way we expected it to. So let's come up with a better plan. Let's tweak something so we can move forward and make it work the way it's supposed to work.
Right, that sounds like a great idea.
Okay. I think that a written contract is essential. And I'm going to say why. Because sometimes people have this thing that's called convenient memory. And then you get into this conversation about, but you said this. Oh, no, I didn't. I said that. You said that. No, I didn't. You can't deny something that was agreed upon if it's on paper, first and foremost. And I'm talking about a written agreement, because an oral agreement is just not good enough. If you're going to do the contract, you got to go all the way with this. And there should be a checklist, and you should treat this contract like a business proposal with a cultural, with a corporate culture, because you have to have a culture that you're creating within a relationship. So you have to do the monthly checkups. So everybody is correct on what they're saying, but we got to put it all together. A written contract holds you accountable, because if you agree to the words, you can never deny that the words weren't exposed to you. So an oral contract is not good enough. It's not strong enough, even to the greatest of minds, even to the people that are into their partner. The most intelligent people forget things. The most intelligent people, they weren't paying attention. But if you weren't paying attention to the words that were written on a contract, then that shows that you really wasn't into it in the first place. So again, a written contract, talking about the culture of the relationship, monthly check-ins. I think it should be every 2 weeks, not every month, because 30 days is a lot for a germ to come into the relationship and really destroy it. So I think it should be done every 14 days, and that's just me. I think there should be a written contract with a checklist. I think there should be a time to make adjustments mutually. People like to make adjustments without telling their partner.
Or me, I will say with that monthly check-in, the one caveat to that is if if something is emergent, like we do that on site, like it's on site right there and then. It's not just the monthly check-ins. It's if it's an emergent situation, we're handling it right there and then, because that's something that can't wait. We're acknowledging that it happened. We're acknowledging that it needs to be fixed. This is the way you're feeling about it. This is the way I'm feeling about it, and we need to have that check-in like post haste, like now, not at our monthly check-in. We can revisit it at our monthly check-in, but this is a conversation that we need to have now.
Well, I'll buy that. I'll buy the structured monthly check-in, and then I'll also buy the ready to take care of things as they come as well, because you cannot wait for 30 days. But I'll also add something into this. Since the beginning of time, we've always pushed people to journal. A written contract could be the beginning of a relationship journal, because you get to go back to it and look at the changes and the adjustments that you did along the way. You get to see how you was willing to compromise. It's also something that you could utilize as proof when somebody accuses you of something. Oh, you're not into it. You're not paying attention. Oh yeah? Well, look, on this day, we actually took our time, we asked ourselves a question, and we added those questions and the journaling to the actual contract.
Absolutely. And one thing that I will say that I try to do especially is you can share your notes and your reminders. If you don't feel comfortable talking about something, there's always that shared note or reminder in your phone that you can share with that special person and say, hey, right now I'm trying to collect my emotions and write this peacefully and calmly so we can talk about it, because I tend, and this is me holding myself accountable, I tend to get emotional when something is bothering me, so I can write it down and it goes straight to Teddy, and it expresses to him what I'm trying to express in a calm fashion. That way we can get to that place where we talk about it. Hey, this is something that needs to be addressed right now. So this is something that, we're going to do at this moment in time.
What I will add to that very quietly is a contract, if that's the way that you're going to go, it has to be done as early as possible. Because if you try to install a contract after you've been with someone a while, then you have to kind of like undo certain things, unplug certain things. And that conversation is a little bit more difficult, because if you vibe with someone, let's say 6 months, a year, and you do it without the contract, and then you try to add the contract, one of the people that are involved in this relationship might be very resistant to it, because they're gonna tell you, hey, we'd be doing fine without it. If you add this contract, this might cause some disturbance. So again, a contract should be installed and negotiated as soon as possible. The sooner the better. It's not impossible if it's done later. It might work better. There's just no guarantee. But if you have a foundation, because a contract could be a foundation, a contract could be something that you say, hey, listen, let's refer back to the contract. You promised to do this. You said you would do that. This is the word that you gave me. You're not keeping your word. And then you give a person to say, hey, F that contract, or you know what? You're right. I did give you my word, and I would like to keep my word. Thank you for holding me accountable to the contract.
So somebody wrote in there, I think it was Soul Scotch, said, then that's conditional love. All love is conditional. All love is conditional. There's no such thing as unconditional love. Because
Yeah, listen, let me explain something real quick, because this gets me upset. There is no such thing as unconditional love unless you're God. If you want to play God, go right ahead and play God. But the only entity that's able to give unconditional love is the big man upstairs. So let's cut it out, because again, all love is conditional, because if you keep loving something that doesn't love you back, then you're the toxic enabler.
think
There
about
has
it
to be
this way.
some, there has to be some reciprocation, brother. There has to be.
Think about it this way, right? Because even with our kids, we put conditions on our kids, right? We do. We put a condition on our kids. If I love you, but you got to stay in school and do what you got to do in school. I'm proud of you. I love what you're doing, but you got to do this, got to do that. That's conditional love. we give our kids chores and things that need to be done around the house, the way that we embrace their accomplishments and things like that. That's not unconditional, because if they fail in school, what's going to be your response if they fail in school?
Wouldn't you agree that's also a form of manipulation?
It can be.
It,
I mean,
it
everybody's
depends.
different, right? I'm not trying to sway everybody's thought process, right? I'm not trying to sway everybody's thought process. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just kind of giving you guys just a different aspect, right? Just it's possible. You know what I'm saying? It can be manipulation, absolutely, 100%. But some people will also take it as conditional love. Like
Let's let's let's,
when you
give
put a
it a
but
basic.
into that statement, like right, Diamond said it. When you put a but into the statement, it changes the thought and the meaning of the said statement.
Let's keep it basic. Let's keep it basic. If people listen, I'm not going to stop people from trying to love unconditionally. I'm not going to stop people, but get ready for what comes with that. And this is what I'm trying to say. You could keep loving unconditionally all you want. You could keep putting love first. You could lead with love. You could do all those things. But if you keep loving something and you keep trying to beat a dead horse, all you're doing is conditioning to function on your love. You're not holding them accountable. You're not helping them. And you are creating a toxic environment by loving unconditionally, because you will get tired of it sooner or later. Sooner or later, you're gonna be like, damn, like all this love and all this, energy that I'm putting into something, I just don't feel like I'm getting anything back. It feels empty. Now, if you continue to try to love something unconditionally without getting any type of reciprocation back, and you know that you're going down a rabbit hole, so who's the enabler?
Think about it this way, and Frosty done said it, right? Frosty said unconditional has no boundaries, right? And I appreciate my brother Riz for dropping that in the chat. He said unconditional love to him means loving someone regardless of what they've done or will do. So ask yourself that question, right? Because Riz, you're right on the ball, and I love that. So everybody in here, ask yourself that question: are you able to love somebody unconditionally, no matter what they do or say or will do, without judgment, without anything? Can you do that? Because if you can't do that, then you're loving them, and you're conditionally loving them.
But that's just insanity. Even
No, I know it's insanity, but I just want everybody to understand where we're coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just be mindful of that. Are you able to sit there and see somebody, not judge them for the decisions that they make, for anything that they do? Are you able to just not judge at all? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everything that they do, no matter what it is, you're okay with it, and show them grace. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like even with our kids, we do that sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? When they make a mistake, instead of correcting them the way that we're supposed to correct them, we attack them. Sometimes, not all of us, some of us. Like we don't realize the way that we respond to things can lead to an attack. Go ahead, babe. I seen you on mute.
So here's the thing: when we say unconditional love, and I hate to bring this up because I know this is a trigger for a lot of people, unconditional love can put you in some seriously unsafe situations.
Say it again for the people in the
Incre-
chat.
Incredibly unsafe situations. Saying that you unconditionally love someone can put you in a DV situation where your life is literally at the hands of someone else, and that is not safe for yourself. So you have to understand that when you say you love someone unconditionally, what is your breaking point? Is it when your loved ones are standing around you and you're about to visit 6 feet under? Like, you have to understand that there has to be some sort of condition for your own safety, whether it be mentally, whether it be physically, so on and so forth. There are definitely conditions to everything. And I hate to bring that situation up because I know that we don't like to talk about DV on this platform because it is a very triggering subject. But at the same time, we have to be realistic.
So I'm
Saying
gonna
that
put.
you love someone unconditionally can put you in an unsafe situation, and you have to realize that your life is not worth that.
So
It's
I'm
not
gonna I'm
always
gonna
to
read
that
the
extreme.
I'm gonna read the definition of unconditional love, so that way we all have a safe understanding of what we're talking about here. Okay.
Yeah,
Hey, Sassy, thank you for
and
coming
when
in.
you do that, I'd like to plug something in when you're ready.
Sure. So, and I'm gonna read two different definitions that I see. So the first one I see is unconditional love is when you love someone no matter what they do and have no expectations of repayment. It means you love someone for who they are with no strings attached. Pay attention to the words that I used. Pay attention to the words that being said. When you love someone no matter what they do with no expectations of repayment. And you love someone for who they are with no strings attached. Think about that for a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's everybody has their own definition. People want to create their own definitions of what the word unconditional love is. Cool, but we can't ignore the fact of the actual definition of said phrase.
Read it one more time, brother. Please read it one more time.
When you love someone, no matter what they do, and have no expectations of repayment, it means you love someone for who they are with no strings attached.
You see that definition right there. The first couple of words, when you love, when they're using the
Right.
word love as a verb, when you love, that's an action. That is an action. As long as you keep putting action towards something and you're not getting anything out of it, and you realize that is an empty space, you're enabling this person to continue to be that person. Let's understand something very, look, I teach mindset, right? So check this out. We are creatures of habit, and we did have a couple of segments about habits, right? And about addictions, right? So check this out. We are easily influences. We are easily influenced, and we are easily manipulated, right? But we can be manipulated into doing something. But the hardest part of that is to do the uncorking of it. It is the awareness. It is to change something that's already embedded in us and to remove something. It is harder to remove something than to add something. It's
Morning,
easy.
bro.
You understand what I'm saying? It's easy to manipulate somebody, right? But it's harder to get them out of something than it is to get them into something.
Right.
Does
And
that make
that's
sense?
why that makes sense. That's why when Sweetie mentioned the dangerous situations unconditional love can put you in, that's a true thing. Like, it can really put you in some shitty ass situations. And Mr. Garrett said something which was dope, right? And I appreciate you, Mr. Garrett, for this. He said a lot of us can't even have unconditional love for ourselves.
That's the point that I'm trying to say. A lot of people hide behind that mask of, oh, I love unconditionally. You know why you love unconditionally? Because you don't even have any standards and boundaries for yourself.
Listen, and this is not us attacking you guys, right? I want to make sure, keep this in mind. We're having a conversation. Everybody can agree to disagree. Well, we're in our rights to disagree or not agree with everything. So this is
And
just
it
us.
is a
This is
choice.
dialogue.
It is a choice. It is a choice on how you proceed. It is a choice of how you live your life. It is a choice of what you lead with. That's totally up to you. And if it's working for you and you're truly happy and you're at a place, you know what I'm saying, in life where you are enjoying yourself, love, peace, and joy, then that's fine. But the majority of people will understand that you cannot pour into an empty cup and you can't pour from an empty cup.
And just like I read you guys the quote that I wrote. Like, you can have an empty cup, but when you're the toxic person in your life, right? You're the toxic individual in your life. How can you pour from a cup that's already toxic? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be mindful of the things that we put out to ourselves.
You're pouring germinated water. You're pouring germinated liquid, germinated substance, toxicity. Well, even liquid can be called toxic, right? Liquid can carry toxicity. You understand what I'm saying? So just be mindful of who and what you do things with. That's all we're saying. We're saying just you may do things without any expectations, but if you give your all, if you give your energy away and it doesn't come back, then you're missing the whole point here.
And Riz said it's all subjective, specific to the person whose reality you exist in.
No, I did see that. Yeah. You're right, Rez. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that. Peacefully Marie, welcome in.
Thank you. Because I had a question. I was just sitting here wondering, dang, was I loving unconditionally when I was being like tossed around like an old rug? Like, because I really like a lot of the damage I have comes from loving people unconditionally when you think about it, right?
I mean, it can.
Correct.
You gotta just reflect on the things that you experience in those situations. You know what I'm
Like it
saying?
really
Like,
changed my perception of unconditional love. Like it's starting to seem toxic.
And
So,
Marie, the one thing I will ask you is
oh, Gumbo, can you come up? Can you come up, Gumbo? Because this is your avenue right here, brother. If you can come up, definitely come up. Because I've learned a lot from him.
what Gumbo just said is exactly what I was just about to get to before I was so rudely interrupted by a phone call. Was it really love? Or was it just attachment? That's exactly where I was going. He took the words like right out of my mouth. Was it really love? Or did you think it was love at that point because it was before you grew into the person knowing what you know now? Was it love or was it attachment? Was it love? Was it lust? Was it truly what was really good for you?
I think you got an echo, babe, just to let you know. Yeah, no,
Sorry,
that's
I got a phone call and that's why it was echoing.
no, you're okay. You're okay. But no, that's true though. You got to ask yourself that question. What type of situation was it? Was it a love? Was it attachment? Was it lust? I think I heard the echo because we're close in proximity. But no, you got to ask yourself that question. Go ahead, peacefully.
you think it might have been learned from your culture or your family, how you were brought up? I was brought up to love unconditionally. Okay, your uncle did such and such with your cousin, but we still love him and we're still family.
It
You
can
know,
become that's toxic.
Yes, that's toxic.
that's the kind of family I grew up with. Like, I have cousins that have taken themselves out because they couldn't handle the toxicity of the unconditional love that's being shown.
Right.
Nobody wants to take accountability for anything.
That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Because yes, it's weaponized, right? It's weaponized. It's mostly weaponized in the family. It's crazy. That's wild. That we even haven't touched that yet. Thank you for bringing that up.
Look,
Because
Where my mind went, like that's why I popped in. Like, okay, y'all really speaking to me today. Like, this is crazy.
it happens more common than people think, and I will throw something in there. Let me give a quick segue for Gumbo real quick. This is something that people have a hard time understanding. When you don't keep your word to a kid, even when you threaten to punish them, even when you threaten to take something away from them, when you don't fulfill that, you disappoint these children. You're disappointing them because now they're looking for discipline and you're not even giving it to them. Why? Because you're not even keeping your word. Understand the reason why I'm telling you this is because even very early in life, kids are disappointed because you do not keep your word. It is the same thing going right into unconditional love. If you choose to use the unconditional love tactic, what I'm going to tell you is that the receiver on the other end, they're all different. Some people don't even know what love looks like. Some people don't, they're not ready for unconditional love. They're actually looking for you to discipline them. They're actually looking for you to keep your word. So be very careful with that. I'm not saying that it doesn't work for everybody, but it's very difficult to live a life of unconditional love. I don't feel like you're being aware of your circle.
So I'm gonna let Mr. Garrett go, and then I'm gonna let Gumbo go. But I just wanna put this in here, right? Ask yourself this question: do you trust you the way that you want others to trust you?
Hmm.
Think
Oh,
about, think about, think
that's what
about that.
that's
Think
what you're
about that
doing.
for a second.
That's what you're
Think about,
doing. All right.
no, think about that for a second. I want everybody to sit on that as I let those two gentlemen go. Do you trust you the way you want others to trust you?
Good
Think about
question.
that. Just let that sit in there for a little bit. But go ahead, Mr. Garrett. Thank you for coming in for the first time.
Hey, no problem. Can you hear me good?
Absolutely.
All right. I just want to add, like, I'm just coming out of a 6-year relationship, uh, and my partner, she is a clinical psychologist, and so we have very vibrant conversations just on this part almost daily,
Right.
because she's very good at what she does, right? But I would try to make my point to her is that she's still bringing trauma from her past into our relationship. And she will try to separate that when talking with her clients and then talking with me, but it overlaps is a ton. And I always told her, she always kept trying to make the point of, you have to love me unconditionally. You have to accept that this is how I am and this is what I do. And I said, I do. I do all that. I accept everything that you're doing, and I'm listening to you and I hear you, but I don't agree with it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I immediately put a condition or a boundary to say I call it doctoring. I keep telling her to try not to doctor me as much as possible. Okay, so
Right. I know it's hard. No, take your time. Take your time,
oh
man.
no, no, I was good,
Okay, I
but
thought you had more because I heard the pause. I'm like, and the difficult thing with that, right, is especially when you're in the field of psychology therapy or coaching, and so and you're in a relationship, it's hard to take that hat off. It's not an easy thing to do, people. It's a very difficult thing to take that hat off and just be their person, right? That's a difficult thing to do. So that's why you have to find the balance. You have to find the balance between being their person and being, the coach, the therapist, the psychologist, the psychiatrist. You gotta take that hat off sometimes and see them for who they are and where your relationship is, so you can have that conversation. Gotta have that balance. Gumbo, my brother, welcome
Yes,
in.
sir. Yes, sir. Hold on. Let me.
So, the conversation of today, right?
that's
We had a part one last week of toxic relationships. Last week we did the romantic relationships. I was gonna text you, but I didn't know if you were busy. I didn't want to interrupt your day because I don't like giving you the last minute thing.
Just text me next time. You never know.
Right. Got you. But today we're talking about the toxic relationships in the family and the friendships that we're kind of diving into. We went down the rabbit hole of unconditional love. So I
Hmm.
want you to tap into that a little bit and just give everybody a
Right.
perspective. In fact, this is kind of your field. So go
So
ahead.
so when we say unconditional love, right? If we take unconditional off of it, right? Then we have to look at humans and how each one of us probably has our own definition of what love looks like, right? So when we make a blanket statement, unconditional love, and we try to shove everybody into this, like, do you love unconditionally or not? Well, at first we first have to look at how that person perceives love or feels love or gives love, and it could be different for a million different ways for a million different people, depending on their life experiences and how they define it. And a lot of us define love based on what was modeled for us when we were children, right? And it could be wholly toxic, it could be wholly dysfunctional and abusive. And that's how we see love. And so when someone says, do you unconditionally love? Are we unconditionally loved from that lens? Or is it the holistic love that we're talking about that everybody should be able to have because it should be defined the same for everyone, right? And so that's why there's a lot of nuance to this. And so a lot of times when we do things like bond with other people by trauma, and then we say that's love because we found somebody that fits what we need to make us feel better about the stuff we didn't work on, then we call it love, right? And a lot of you know, and I've dated people who told me they love me after like 48 hours, and I'm like, whoa, we haven't even had conversations to even you don't even know me, but they
Right.
needed the attachment so bad that they wanted to encapsulate that and say that it's love, and those type of people wholeheartedly will behave in a way that looks like they love you unconditionally because they need you, right? They need you more than they need air because that trauma is still bubbling under the surface, right? And so we have to be careful about when we say unconditional because there are a lot of things that I think that should be conditional when you're dealing with other humans where we're supposed to put that stop sign up and say, wait, I was with you up until this point. That right there? Nah. So then it becomes the context of what some people believe. Once you love someone, I've heard this online. Once you love someone, you will always love them forever, and it's unconditional. And I'm like, wait, I think, and this is just my personal thing. I think I might have unconditional care, but love, I assign to certain. Like I care if you're on the earth or not. I care if you get hit by a bus, but love, I reserve that for certain people, and I think that if those conditions are broken, I think for me it dissipates. That's just my personal thing. Like it's some folks I was with in the past that I said I loved that I can really give it to. Like right? And so yeah, so it's kind of weird because then it becomes how people define it. There are people it's like if you love them once, then you'll always love them, and I'm like I care, but love is strong. I don't know if I can do that, but like that's why I say it depends on how you define it because I I have been in long-term relationships and 10 years later I'm like was that really love though? Like when you look back at it you be like I was with them and I said the words but that relationship but that wasn't love. I don't think that was love. So then you start to look at what qualifies as love to you over time. Like was that love? Like for me, I was in a whole marriage and got divorced, and I can tell you today that was attachment. It wasn't love. We was just happy that we had somebody house to go over to every other weekend, and we just spent the time. I don't know if it wasn't something that grew into love. It was just functioning. But that's
Right.
hindsight. While I was in it, I was like, "Yeah, this my girl. I love her." But we didn't like learn each other. We were just happy to be be there.
I think that's what that relationship was with my kid's mom too, because I was with her for 6 years,
Yeah.
and I felt like it was just an attachment.
But that's what I'm
Because
saying, fellas. Look, this correlates with what I was saying earlier. And me and Gumbo had this discussion like 25 times, right? It's some people are with each other because they can tolerate each other because they're filling
Yeah.
a void. Some people are with people, and here's the thing, Gumbo. Gumbo, I need you to help me understand and everybody else the difference between doing things with love, being in love, and just love. Like people could say, I love you, but are you in love with this person or you just function from a love foundation? Help me out with that, Gumbo.
Well, in that a lot of times goes back to what I was talking about earlier about just l- what I always tell people is what version of you is doing the picking and the dating? Is it coming from a traumatic lens? Is it coming from some past hurt and those voids that we try to fill? Almost becomes essential for us to band-aid it a lot of times and cope using people to cope with it than air and food. Like we need it. And that need starts to look like unconditional love when it's really unconditional, like I need to be attached to you. And sometimes that attachment never leaves. Like that on the surface, if you was looking at it on the outside, you would say that's unconditional love. Look, they're that ride or die. Like, oh my God, they're just gonna take everything because they love that person. I don't subscribe to that. Like it's some folks that need to be pulled the hell up out of there. But you can't do that unless they're willing to do it for themselves. So it's a I would say, and I'm gonna stick my neck out there. I think that happens more often than not, where we're just looking for someone to be a companion, to feel something that we're lacking, because most of us don't do that soul searching, that digging, that healing. And so we're outside in the dating pool just trying to find somebody to make us feel better. And we'll shoehorn the love and all the other stuff in later, the alignment. We'll worry about that later. I just need to feel good right now. And I'm not talking about bedroom activities. I'm talking about your spirit, your trauma, all that other stuff. If you can find somebody that can make that feel better, you'll figure the love out later. You'll probably be saying it after 7 days, 14 days. You'll be like, I love you. I don't want to go nowhere. I'm going to be with you for the rest of my. You know how many people say, like in the first week, I want you for the rest of my life. I want to be with you forever. And I'm like, damn, you don't even know my middle name yet. That's when you be like, that's when you be like, what is this really? What's going on? But because it feels good to hear, because it feels good to be around them, you stay.
That's hilarious.
Look, being that, hold up, Gumbo, being that we have you here and it's a privilege to have you here, one last thing I'm going to pick your brain on really quickly. I am a firm believer that we should not be falling in love. We should be growing in love. Can you say something about?
Well, so again, here's where the subjectivity comes in too, because even though we have a definition for it, I think people see it differently. So no matter what I say, there's going to be somebody that says, no, you're wrong. But I think that a stronger love comes from finding someone that you find alignment with. And with alignment comes growth, comes information gathering, comes, figuring out if you guys actually match versus what people would say is the feeling of love, which can come really fast, and they jump on that without getting all the other information. And then you find it out later that you guys are really not compatible, but you loved. You're not going the second day or the first 30 days and you learned nothing. And that a lot of times is not a foundation by which you can build something long term.
I got you, Mama G. Go ahead, babe.
Oh, I was actually gonna ask Coach the question that Mama G had in the chat, but I don't know if she wants to ask it herself since she's up here.
Mama G, if you want to ask it, go for it.
Um, what the hell? What I wrote was for those who don't know how to, stop that bad habit of like, either falling for somebody who, hold on, let me turn this TV down. I'm over here watching 60 Days in. My bad, y'all. For those who get attached to people who instantly like do that love attachment, or those who do the attaching. I know that the first step is always you have to love yourself, right? And learn to love yourself. That's how, most other things work. But I'm sure there's other steps. And I could tell them steps that I take, but it might not work for them. So because you're, more in tune with what you're talking about than I am, because I'm just starting to, been starting to work on myself for a little while. I think it's, it would come better off from you. And then I had another one, but hopefully I remember after you say what you said, because I can't remember right now. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was what I was gonna say. I was gonna say to you before Sweetie said for me to ask a question. I think the first thing with everything that you had said first, like you have to love yourself and be okay with yourself, so that nobody else can come into your life with all this love that you are missing or that you think you're missing, and then able to, attach themselves to you and you be attached to them as well. But yeah.
So the way that I operate is I like to solve problems from the foundation. That way we don't have to consistently repeat them. Like we may repeat them, but we have tools to help us kind of manage them better. But this is the thing, right? I think, and I've had to learn this in practice just from being a coach and just listening to people every day. You can say, I need to love myself more. You can say, I want to stop attaching to people this way. But until you have an understanding of who you are and why you are, you will never be able to do this because you don't have the skill set to do it, right? So now we have to look at your childhood. We have to look at your patterns that you've had even before you met this person to understand who you are. And once you understand who you are, understand maybe how to manage yourself. And a lot of us need help with this because who taught us, right? Once you get that information, then you can start to have a love for yourself, a forgiveness for yourself and the things that you've been through, so that that love becomes so powerful that when you meet someone, you're not looking for someone to be that for you, because it exists in you first before you meet them, right? So I always tell people, I don't look at, like, we go through a lot of pain in our relationships and things like that, and we look at the relationship and we'll say, the breakup was bad and this is what this person did to me and all of these things. But what I do in coaching is I say, delete all of that. I want to know who you were before you met them, because that's going to tell me why you attached to them. That's going to tell me why they triggered you. That's going to tell me why. It's not going to give me a profile of whoever this evil person was, because we can put them to the side and we can demonize that. But I want to know where you were self-esteem wise before you met them. And when you peel that layer back, then we're going to go to the relationship before that and see who you were before that. And we're going to see who you were before the other one. And at some point, you're going to see a pattern of attachment. And that's going to lend me the information to tell you how to start your healing journey to tackle those things, because you will repeat history. We can say things like, you need to heal before you go into the next, but who taught you? We don't have, what are you going to sit at home? Most people just sit at home and don't date for a year and they say, okay, I'm good. But you're not. You're worse now, because there's no new habits, no new information. You sat out the game for a year. Now you want to jump back in greener than ever. And the people who are looking for you look like those people that y'all hate the most, the narcissists and the players, and they're like, oh, she's not healed. She's out here moving in a way that we like. She doing too much. He doing too much. That's what we want. And you have to, those boundaries and all those things that we talk about and Hormiga talks about and Emmanuel talks about, if those things are not wrapped around healing, they will fall quickly for stupid things like beards and height and the gambit. and you and you'll be like, I thought I had some boundaries, but they gone. It's only been 3 days. This is what happens. We got to be stronger than this, and the only way you can build that strength is to build those things: the self worth, the self love, the all the selves, right? You got to build those things up so that you're not looking for somebody to fill them in, because once you do that, they control you.
No, that's facts though.
I think in
That
that
is hilarious.
I think in that too, if someone's deciding to stay by themselves for a year, what did you accomplish in that year's time? Did you sit and did you soak in the misery, or did you actually do the self work? Did you decide to actually put some work into your growth and understand that you need to set better boundaries for yourself? Did you sit in that year and decide that you deserve better? Did you sit in that year and decide whether or not you are going to actually want something healthy for your next relationship? Or did you just sit in that year and play the pity party of woe is me, this person hurt me so bad that I just don't want to get hurt like that again? It all depends what you did in that year's time of what you are going to go forth with after that time that you took off from dating.
So I want to ask a question. This is for everybody if y'all want to answer it. What does it look like, right? Because I just recently did a one-on-one with somebody. Not gonna say no names, but what does it look like when an individual can converse and talk about everybody else that did them wrong, but can't reflect on the things that they did wrong?
Someone who can't take accountability.
No, I wanted to go a little deeper than that, because I know Gumbo and Hormigo go a little deeper than that, because I know they've seen it. So I seen it for the first time doing my one-on-one. So that was new to me to see that. You know what I'm saying? So what does that look like to y'all? when you see somebody that can tell you everything that somebody else did, to them, whether it be the mother, the husband, the boyfriend, the aunt, the uncle, the kids, but they don't look at them individually. Go ahead, Gumbo. Or Gary, whoever wants to go
Don't
first.
look at
Uh,
that part.
I'll let somebody else go first if they want to.
Yeah,
I
whoever
was
wants
just
to
gonna
go.
say yes, that's very much so. Um, damn, I just lost my train of thought. But when people talk about themselves and never let, or talk about their past, that's a drag down for me now. But that's what I used to absorb. Those are the people I attracted. Those who always were in misery, and it was like misery loved company. They never talked about healing themselves. They just talked about what everybody else did to them. And I was like, man, that's messed up. Man, that's messed up. But now I've been like, well, what do you do for yourself? How are you feeling now? Did you take the steps to try to pull yourself up out of that, or did you just fall right back into another bad relationship? And the cycle just continues because no one takes the time to try to say, I need to heal myself. I need to take time for myself and really feel what it is I want out of love.
All right, whoever wants to go next.
I got this real quick. Um, no, I'm gonna again. I'm just gonna create the segue for Gumbo because, like I said, me and Gumbo have had these conversations. Just for people to understand, Gumbo specializes in relationships, but that doesn't mean that that's the only mindset that he can talk about, right? Just because that's what he specializes in doesn't mean that he can't charter into other things. I am a transition coach. A lot of people will say, well, what does that mean? It means anything that has a change, anything that is different is a transition. Losing your job, going into a new relationship, getting out of a relationship, trying to get into a different career, everything is a transition. So I said all that just for people to understand that Mr. Garrett is right. The biggest mistake that people do is that they try to grow without the healing process. They try to skip the healing process. They try to do other things while they're healing. No, ladies and gentlemen, healing has its own door. Healing has its own room. You have to honestly, a lot of people think that they're healed, but they're really not. A lot of people feel like, oh, I'm ready for the next step. There is no length of time that can do this. There are different processes and different steps that you can monitor and you can check yourself to see where you at in this game, right? But a lot of
Right.
people want to move faster than the process allows itself to be. You have to trust the process and go through the steps. What do those steps look like? Unfortunately, they are different for everyone, but they have their foundational representation. You can veer off to cater to what it is exactly because think about this. Everybody's math is different, but the variables in the equations are the same. They just come at different times. Different people do it. These are all trust issues that have been broken. But at the end of the day, you can heal from somebody else, but are you healing from the damage and the role that you play to the demise of your pain? Because it's easy to say, hey, that person did it. That person did that to me. Okay, but what role did you play? You can't heal until you heal from the people that hurt you and you heal from yourself. It has to be both. Otherwise, you're leaving something open for it to repeat itself, like Mr. Garrett said. So, all I'm saying is real simple. The healing part cannot be skipped, it cannot be accelerated, it cannot be duplicated. You're going to go through your own pain. And I think it was Ford, and I say this every week. Please pay attention to these words. It was Ford that said, everybody in your life, no matter how, if they're in your life long enough, they're gonna hurt you. Inadvertently, directly, they're all gonna hurt you. For those people that say, I don't need nobody, I can do this without people, I don't trust people. But if you have the understanding that even people that you do love are going to hurt you, then you're better prepared for it. Because if you can hurt yourself, what makes you think that other people won't hurt you? And I'll leave it right there. Get them, Gumbo.
Real quick, before Gumbo
Before
goes.
Gumbo gets there, because I know he's about to take it to that avenue. Um, I want to hear from Marie first, Mama G, before you do a commercial break. Okay. Um, then we can do commercial break, and I'll let Gumbo go because I already know Gumbo's about to take it to another level. So get him, Marie, because I know you've been quiet and taking notes.
Yeah, I'm gonna come down after this too, but I did kind of learn a lot. I apologized to my ex. The first thing I did when I was healing. You know, everything that went in our relationship, it wasn't all him. And I told him, you know, I had got out of college. I had just met him. I knew what I wanted. I never gave him a chance to really tell me what he wanted. I took it too far with like what I wanted. I wanted the kids. I wanted the house. I wanted to, you know, and that caused a problem because I never considered his feelings, regardless of what he did. I took accountability for what I did to cause what he did. And I think that was a part of my healing too. So I understand where y'all coming from. Like you gotta be accountable.
I love that. I love that. It's different.
So real quick, we have about 34 more minutes before the live ends. We have an 85K like goal. We ain't got no lunch, no breakfast, no brunch. Mama G tired. She came in late. I'm sorry. Tax it to the mama hood. I'm sorry, I got children. I've been up since the ass crack of dawn. Ain't got nothing to eat. Y'all ain't gonna eat if I ain't eat. Sorry. But please tap the screen, share the live out. Like I always say, tap the screen like you either tap your bean or somebody else's bean. Please and thank you. We greatly appreciate it. Tap, tap, tap. If you go like this, and I'm not trying to be funny, literally, if you go like this, you get 2 times the tap, so get there faster. Thank you very much.
And if you guys are enjoying the live, that's the environment that we built. Hit that star, man. We got 17 people subscribed to the live. If you guys want to join, definitely hit that star and subscribe. We're trying to build the community here, as well as hit the heart too, because we have 390 people on the team. Hit that heart as well. We're trying to build a community that is not only there to work on themselves, but to help others work on themselves. Like try to help each other grow. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody might learn something from you that you've actually been with. You know what I'm saying? And it might help them in their process. So make sure y'all join the team.
Real quick.
Join the Discord.
One more thing. If you are enjoying the live, if you would like any book, mental health, King has a book in the Discord. I'm sorry, let me start over. He has a Discord. Please tap the link in the bio if you would like mental health information, mental health publishing, or Mika has a book in the library. Sweet Tea adds books to the library every day. He has merchandise. Click the link. Join the Discord. Join the team. Watch his videos. They're very informative. I have the book. I'm almost done with it. I'm trying to get through with it, but it's hard when I have children and I just want to sleep. But when I tell you it's very informative, it'll make you want to kick him in the shin. He has a YouTube channel, so any Saturday live from, it's been a while. He's posted many, so you can backtrack to any information you've missed or would like to catch up on. We have many topics that he does on Saturday mornings. It's Saturday morning, so Saturdays from 9 to 12. Every Saturday, unless he posts a video that he's not here, he will be here live talking about mental health issues, relationships, etc., etc. So please join the team, tap the screen, click the follow button. Thank you very much.
Pretty rich. Gumbo, go for it, brother.
So this, what I try to do with these type of explanations is I try to cast a wide net so a lot of people can really understand how this works from human behavior, right? Because I always tell people, and this is the reason why I keep using the word patterns. Patterns aren't the ones that I use in coaching are not verbal. I watch and you tell me how you moved, who you picked, and all of these kind of things. And so when we look at how this works practically, it's like, and a lot of us have traumas that are subconscious. That's what they call the shadow work, right? And understanding those things, some conscious, some subconscious, right? Either way, our body knows that it's there, right? So a lot of times we will build a life that functions around it so that we can be functional. when we date and we relationship, we're building them around people who function around the things that we're not working on, right? So then when you come to a one-on-one or you try to get help or someone's asking you about like why are you doing this or that, it's hard for them to relate to the things that are inside the bubble because they've built a life around the bubble, right? So when someone asks you to be accountable, it's hard for you to see yourself because you've built a life around the things that they're asking you to go into. So like I said, sometimes it's subconscious. A lot of us don't even realize that we're walking around with trauma. But when you tell me how you moving, I'm going to say, yeah, that, yeah. And they will literally not, like almost not believe you. So when you say that there's a lot of people who have a hard time taking accountability, it's hard. It's almost like they have to unlearn what they've programmed themselves to be because we have to be parents. We have to go to work. We have to function. We have to function with or without the work to be able to participate in society. And unfortunately, those same people are in the dating pool. They're your husband, they're your wife. Those things are function. You'll say things like, well, that's just who I am. And then everybody's supposed to just submit to that, no matter how toxic it is. They be like, well, I'm just mean. So you're just gonna have to deal with me being mean. I don't. You actually can work on that. You can work on that, but you're choosing not to. So they wear it like a badge of honor, telling you that they're not going to change and you are going to have to love me despite these things. And so when you say, but you're mean, they're not going to say, I need to work on it. They're going to say, that's just who I am. You're going to have to deal with it. And so that person, you can't coach until until they're ready. And you're going to find when you do more one-on-ones, Emmanuel, that you're going to find a lot of people that not just aren't accountable, but they have to really like reboot their system and relearn how to process how they move in the world around them, because building a world around just functioning on top of the trauma is more important than dealing with it, because you still got to go outside every day. A lot of people live in this survival mode. They trying to see where the next, how they gonna keep the lights on. So accountable for what? What trauma? I didn't have never had no trauma. Both of my parents was in the house, and I'm like, yeah, but look at what you're doing. There's something in there. There's something there. I don't know what it is, but your behavior tells the story. The nonverbal communication is way bigger than the words that are coming out your mouth. That's why a lot of people hate me when I coach them, because I'm like, wait, stop the sentence. It's too much. It's too much. The behavior nullifies the 10 paragraphs that was going to come later. We just
Right.
can't run by, you know, I got daddy issues and that's just who this is what I hear. I already know I have daddy issues, but can we talk about the other stuff? And I'm like, wait, we just can't run past that. Like that might be causing some of the other stuff. Like we got so I'm landing my plane there. I could talk about this all day, y'all.
But I'm no, we're right there, right? I'm glad that you said that because that's kind of what the situation was, though, is with the mom. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, the whole time we're having this conversation, she didn't really mention herself. Like she just mentioned her mom. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the conversation was, and I just had to stop her. I said, "Do you see what you're doing?" She was like, "No, I didn't catch it." I was like, everything pertaining to what we spoke about was your mom. Not one time did you ever bring yourself up. I said, "You never once brought yourself up in the whole time we've been having the conversation." I said, "What?" I said, "What is it about you that you love outside of the trauma? Outside of everything that you've dealt with?" And it took her a while to kind of like take that moment to answer the question. And then she started explaining the things that she would love get back doing. And I said, the easiest way to do that is to kind of just push through it, right? Try to find something that kind of opens the blinder to your piece, right? A little bit, whether it's music, because you have the music therapy. Me and you went into music, like it just does something to us, right? Music does something to us. So I said, if she said I love music, I said okay. I said play music. She's like when I'm cleaning my house, I want to be happy. I was like okay. I said open the blinds, right? Let the sunlight in. You know what I'm saying? Create your favorite playlist of all the music that you listen to. Let it blur through the house while you're cleaning. Right? So that way it could just you're creating that peace in your environment, right? Before you decide to step out and touch grass, you're creating that environment in the place that you're normally there, which is your home. You know what I'm saying? So that should be your foundation of your peace is your home. That should be the foundation of where everything starts. If you're not comfortable where you are or where you lay your head, everything else is not going to be easy to do. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not going to be in the process. You have to be comfortable where you lay your head before anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be comfortable there. If you're not comfortable there, you're not going to be comfortable anywhere. So if playing music, you know what I'm saying, creates the peace in your house, play music. Blare it if you got to tell. Let the neighbors knock on your door. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? But it brings you peace. You know what I'm saying? If cleaning and listening to music brings you peace, listen, bachata around the room if you know how to bachata around the room. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, take the broom and start dancing with the broom if you got to do it. Like, you know, there's just like, you got to find that sense of peace. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to create that energy and make it vibration. You got to build that
Nice.
energy
Can I
up.
tap into that a little bit?
Go for it.
All right, so let's talk about the unconditional thing again. Let's say somebody says, "Man, I love music." Okay, do you love music unconditionally? Or there are some frequencies that don't resonate with you. Are you telling me that you can listen to every single music and enjoy it the same? No. So think about what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. If unconditional actually exists, notice the word if, because right, people get the wrong impression when you use the word if. Oh, you don't believe in it? I said, no, I'm open to it. If conditional or unconditional love exists, are you using that unconditional excuse to love everybody else because you do not know or refuse to love yourself?
Lord Jesus. Okay.
So real quick, again, one more time, we reached our 85K goal. We are now on to 100K. Please and thank you. We truly appreciate it. Tap the screen, share the live out. We still got a little bit. Maybe somebody can, get some of this information if they need.
Lord, Amiga, why'd you have to do it?
You know why? You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because I had that battle for a long time. For
Okay.
a long time, I wanted attention. I wanted for someone to be there for the things that I never had. And so many things that I wanted, but none of the things that I needed. And that's where we have a problem. The problem is to trying to differentiate the wants and needs. Why not combine them? Why not combine your wants and needs? You're supposed to want your needs so that your needs don't feel like chores or obligations. You're supposed to do your needs first, and you'll realize that your wants were just a temporary situation. Think about what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. If you take care of your wants first, your needs are still there. You still got to pay bills. You still got to have those hard conversations. You still got to exercise. You still got to eat right, right? But if you take care of all your wants, now you're facing your needs. If you take care of your needs, you will realize that half the wants you wanted were only like a very simple, like tiny dopamine hit that you was looking for. Let's stop substituting the needs and wants. Let's learn what the differences are. Take care of your needs because that's what's going to give you freedom. Taking care of your wants is not going to give you freedom. It's actually going to backtrack you. Taking care of your needs is going to put you where you need to be. Trust me, because I've had this fight 50 times. For those that don't want to admit that they've had this fight, I'm good with you too. It'll come to a point where you have to actually acknowledge this. But again, do you love everything else unconditionally without loving yourself unconditionally? Gumbo, can you love yourself unconditionally? Is that something that's conducive?
I think I think if you have a true love for yourself, I think you can. I think even when you even when you hit those bumps in the road, you have a baseline to get back to. I think you can love yourself unconditionally, but I'm gonna tell you again, for me, and this is just my life and my personal opinion, loving someone else has some hellified conditions for me. I don't I'm not the love you forever person if certain things are broken. I can't do it. That's just me. And I know again, this is may not be popular, but that I put because I love myself, there are boundaries, right? That I am not willing to budge on. And those boundaries are wrapped around a person that is on a healing journey, right? Without that healing journey, those boundaries are weak. So then I may attach myself to someone and call it love and say that it's forever. And no matter what you do, no matter how heinous it is, I'm always going to be forever in love with you. I can't do that. I have people in my past that I can tell you I don't. But I care. I care about human life. But love, I reserve that for somebody special that's actively special. So I'm landing there. I hope that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. We have 69 people in here, 68 people in here. Can I have all 68 people go to YouTube and type in Mind Your Mental and subscribe? That'd be great. Honestly, just it's free to subscribe, right? And the information that we give out there is free. It's free gems. So we have 60 something people in here. If you guys all go to YouTube, just swipe your screen up. We'll still be here. And go to YouTube and type in Mind Your Mental. You'll see the gold label. That's my logo. And then just subscribe. So you guys can rehash this if you guys missed the beginning of the live, because you guys missed a lot. The beginning of this live, I promise you, there was a lot being given. So if you wasn't able to see the live in the beginning, just go on YouTube, subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Armiga is about to be living his best life once you get off this live. I promise you. But everything that you guys heard today, let me ask you guys this question, right? For everybody in the chat, right? Even the people that's up here. Are you going to be able to apply what you've learned to your life, or try to apply it to your life if you haven't already? Because we've dived into a lot today. Like, we really dived into a lot today. And for the people that are taking notes, awesome. You guys are amazing. Because you guys, listen, taking notes is important, okay? Trying to mentally take all this in, it's just not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to take all this in mentally. Like, writing it down and seeing it on paper, and then thinking about it and seeing if you can apply it to your life is very important. You know what I'm saying? It's a practice that's so effective. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of all of you guys. If you're here, that means you want to be here. That means you want to get the information. That means you want to work on yourself. That means you want to be the better version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not here just to shoot the shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're here to actually get something out of this. So if you are getting something out of this and you are enjoying everything that we're providing to you guys today, because there's a part 3 to this, because we didn't even talk about the work environment. But we're going to tap into that, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after that, because I have a gathering I got to go to for work on Saturday. But just be mindful of everything that you heard today, right? It's always good to have a different perspective in life. Sometimes our perspective is not the best perspective. I've learned that the hard way. So, you know what I'm saying? So learning from Venus, learning from Laura, learning from Hormiga, Relationship Gumbo, speaking to these individuals when I can or when I have, I've learned different perspectives and different mindsets and different teaching methods for the people that I'm working with now. You know what I'm saying? So that way I can give them different perspectives of life versus what I already know. Do the same thing for yourself. Reach one, teach one. If you can learn the stuff that we've taught you over the course of the years, right? You can do this for somebody else. Lala has done it. She was just in here. She spoke to her daughter and gave what she's learned with us. She applied it to her daughter. Her daughter understood it and took the advice. You know what I'm saying? Frosty and Amber, when I did the mediation with them on their live, it came out as a success because Frosty realized what needed to be done, and she did what was necessary to make that interaction make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's possible. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's possible. It's possible for the change. It's possible to shed the skin. Like, you know what I'm saying? The person that you are now is not the version that's going to be a forever version. Just know that. There's always growth. There's always a change that needs to be made. You know what I'm saying? There's always something that needs to grow within you. But you have to want that. We can't make it happen for you. We can give you the tools, everything that is needed, the information, the education. We can give you all of it. But if you're not applying it, if you're not pushing yourself to apply it and do the better version for yourself, we can't control that. We can try our best, but we can't control where you want to be in life as far as your process of healing, as far as your process of your relationship. And I'm not talking about just your romantic relationship. I'm talking about relationships with your friends, creating those boundaries with your friends and family so that way they know where to step and not to step. You know what I'm saying? Put them landmines on the floor so when they step on that landmine and you be like, I don't think you want to move your feet. Because if you move your feet, that landmine's gonna explode. Because I put it there so that way you're not, you respecting my boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like put that landmine where it needs to be so that way they can respect your boundaries. And the same thing goes for your relationship. There is boundaries in relationships, people. We should have them. Don't think that they don't exist because you're one with your person. There's still boundaries in your relationship, and everybody should have them. Don't think that they don't exist. They very much so exist. I think the codependency in the relationship is why the boundaries are never created. So be careful of the codependency in your relationship. Have the boundaries that's needed in your relationship so that way you guys can have a better understanding of each other and effectively communicate when things go left. Don't be afraid to have that conversation with your spouse, because if you can't have that conversation with them, then there's no conversation need to be had. Just walk away. Because at that point, they're not listening to what you're doing and you're not listening to what they're doing. So there's really no point of trying to force something that somebody doesn't really want. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of us, that unconditional love, like Gumbo said and what Sweetie said, can put you in very dangerous situations. You know what I'm saying? And for your self journey, for your self healing, and for physical aspects as well. Be very careful of the people that you provide quote unquote unconditional love to, because it can really put you in a damaging environment. Just be mindful of all this stuff, guys. We're not bringing this stuff to hurt you. We're not bringing this stuff to attack you. We're not bringing this to criticize you. This is not what we're doing this for. We're doing this to give you what's needed. You know what I'm saying? We've all been through a process once or twice in our life where we've seen these things happen in our lives alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just the education behind it, it's the experience behind all of this. It's all of us collectively understanding the things that we've been through, and it's not easy to find the help and the guidance that's needed through your process. That's the reason why I wrote my book, because I realized when I did it, I didn't have help. Like, I didn't have a therapist, I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have none of that stuff. I couldn't find it around the time that I was doing my process. I found it towards the end, where I figured everything out. You know what I'm saying? So what we do for you guys, what Venus does, Gumbo does, Hormiga does, what I do, what Tamika does, Laura Herrera, you know what I'm saying? Sonia Renee, if you guys haven't met her, look her up. Amazing person, right? We do this because we've been through it. Like, we've all been through it once or twice. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing this just to do it. We do it because it's needed. The world needs us. We're moving in our purpose. We are moving in our purpose. We're moving in the blueprint that God created for us. Don't let that go over your head, people. I'm going to keep telling you guys that too. We're moving in the purpose and the blueprint that God created for us. Because every time we've tried to do something that God didn't create for us, guess what? We ran into a wall. Every time. I know for me it did. I ran into a wall every time I tried to do something that wasn't meant for me. It hit me, it hit in a direction that I didn't want to get hit by, and it hit me very hard. It hit me in my pockets. You know what I'm saying? It hit me in my relationships. It hit me with everything. You know what I'm saying? So just be very careful. Babe, you had your hands up? Go ahead.
I think in that token of what you just said, if you believe that things are happening to you, they're not actually happening to you, they're happening for you. Regardless of whether or not you want to believe that it's happening for you, something else is lined up for you. That's why what's currently happening is happening, because there's a bigger plan for the outcome of your life. So when Emmanuel talks about the blueprint, that you have to keep in mind. Things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. There's a reason why things aren't working out the way they're supposed to, because there's a bigger plan.
Absolutely. Gumbo, you wanna elaborate on that?
Um, I think what she said is something that, like I said before, it's a part of us that the way that we're kind of conditioned, it's almost like you have to unlearn it and relearn it to think that way. And I think a lot of us don't. Like we look at the things that happen to us and we just kind of exist in that space. And that other way of thinking points you in the direction of accountability and healing like we talked about before. But it's difficult because when things happen to you, it's emotional. Sometimes it's traumatic and we don't really want to see the other side. We're sitting in it. And the longer we sit in it, the more it starts to become a part of how we behave. And we have to take responsibility for ourselves and really start to look at the why. Be very curious about the why. And that why will lead you to pun intended, self mastery. And once you can master yourself, then you then become and evolve into something greater. And then that thing then affects the environment around you. It affects who you pick, who you choose, the energies that you align yourself with. But without that, you're going to be on a hamster wheel. And then you're going to complain about everything. See, what I teach is we will walk around with complaints about life, about the people that we're with. And when people come to me with a complaint, I point them towards healing. I point them towards accountability and self-awareness. Once we can tackle that, then your experiences change. And when the experiences changes, then the complaints start to disappear. But if you sit on the complaints, because that's what they want to do on a one-on-one, I'm like, no, no, no. We can get those complaints up out of you, but we gotta go down to the bottom and figure out the why first. Because you will complain, you hear it every day, oh, the dating pool has pee in it, and oh my God, everybody's horrible. And I'm like, everybody on the planet is horrible but you, right? Like we we gotta look at it a little deeper. So I'm landing my plane with that.
I feel the
Was
same.
Sometimes people say that the dating pool has pee in it. Guess what? You smell a little wretched over there yourself. You should probably get a little sniff. Lift those arms, take a little sniff. You might be part of the problem.
I'm just saying. I don't even have to say anything because it's facts. I ain't gotta say anything that's facts. Some of y'all might need to scrub a little bit more. I'm just I'm just saying some of y'all might need to scrub a little bit more.
If it helps,
Because
get you some ordinary exfoliator, the little thing going viral on TikTok. It helps get the funk off.
some of y'all men need some Dr. Squash in your life. Some of y'all ladies might need some Summer Eve in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Not the summer's eve.
The Summer's Eve. Y'all might need a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? If y'all really acting real ducky out here, y'all might need some Dawn dish soap. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just remember, guys, when we're here, right? I can't speak on no other platform, but when we're here, we're talking about ourselves. We're talking about us. We're not talking about the person that did the work, did the pain, or did the hurt. We're talking about us. We're talking about what we're doing to fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? Just be mindful of that. We're here to talk about what we can do to fix the problem for ourselves. So that way we could shed that skin and see that new shine. You know what I'm saying? Be very mindful of that. We can't focus on who did the hurt.
I did want to address one question that Frosty had, and I know Armiga's busy, but I know he can probably hear us. She said she would love to hear Armiga's point on what happened was for us. He's talking right now. He's setting up for an event, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure if he's going to be able to get to that question, but we can definitely address it if he does get back to his phone before the live is over. We have about 4 minutes left.
I mean, while we're doing that, I can everybody can give their closings if they want to give their closings, so we can just get that out the way because I don't know what homie is doing.
So real quick, I just want to thank everybody for, being here, continuously tapping the screen, sharing the live, and supporting official Mind Your Mental and everybody on the panel as much as y'all possibly could. Thank you. Bye. Well, no, I'm lying, not bye. Once again, please go to his live, go to his account. Plus, on the link in the bio, there's merch, there's a Discord, there's tons of information, there's a YouTube channel. I'm ignoring that person in the chat. So yes, thank you for supporting. Go get the more information. Go watch the YouTube videos. You won't regret it. Thank you so much. Bye. Sorry, my brain is all over the place today.
You're good. What's going on? Go ahead, Gumbo.
I think, I guess just closing, I would say we talked about unconditional love and we talked about a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, just figure out who you are and move around accordingly. The who you are thing is a big thing for a lot of us because we don't know, but we're walking around like we do. So just get curious about who you are, right? Because we build our lives around what society expects instead of living in our truth. So we have to figure that out. And sometimes it's not an easy journey to take because it's a lot of chaos in that brain. It's a lot of chaos in your heart and in your body, but it's never too late to look back so that your forward looks even better. That's all I got. I'm evolving. Like my three ingredients to my gumbo now are healing, growing, and evolving. I'm changing. I'm evolving. And I'm less of a relationship coach now as I am a healing journey coach. So I'm starting to call myself that now because I would say it's about 80 to 90% of my platform now is the healing journey. Because I've been on the one-on-ones. I've coached for years on relationship and dating tactics and stuff, and people they don't listen to you. They really need to get to the meat and potatoes of self-awareness and all the healing things before I can even let you go outside. So when you're under my coaching, I will tell you you're not allowed to go outside until I release you because you're not ready. We're gonna get some things done. Stop. Don't no phone calls, no conversations. Stop. That's why the biggest part of my platform now I call it sit down and heal because we got to just sit down. We can't we can't allow you to go back out there in the dating pool. So that's all I got. If you need my help, link is in the bio, and it's a lot of stuff. I still got to get on your Discord. I didn't had a lot of tragedy over the past week or so, so I'm just getting over that mourning and grief. My dad, I just buried him on Wednesday, so
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
just
My
dealing with that. Yeah,
condolences.
but I am here, just trying to get back to life. So so I still need to get on your Discord, bro. So that's on my list. I got a hell of a to-do list.
Take care of you first.
Oh,
Before you go,
I am. This is a distraction for me right now.
yeah, just text me
Understandable.
if anything. If you want to talk about anything, just text me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you guys in the comments. I appreciate it. So that's all I got.
Relationship gumbo, before you go, I want to give you a little giggle. You said the meat and potatoes of getting back to everything. Y'all gonna have the meat sweats before you start working on everything else. Give yourself the meat sweats before
Yep.
you start looking for other stuff.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Which is crazy. I love it. Oh man, ooh,
Can,
before
can I get my
I'm gonna let you go.
He better let you go.
I just want to read something, and I want everybody to sit in it while you talk, because sometimes you go profound too. And this is for my spiritual folks, right? If you are a spiritual person and you are one of them grown folks that want to act like the blueprint for God doesn't work. Everyone wants to scream, "I'm grown and I can do what I want." It sounds good until you have to explain to God why the outcome of you being grown is putting you in a position where you deny his existence and his presence in your life. Don't let that go over your head. Go ahead, babe.
I wasn't ready. Um, I'll admittedly say I wasn't ready for that one. No, you know, we've all learned quite a bit. This is a highly packed informational live. There was a lot of information to absorb. So I will advise everyone, please go back to the YouTube. Please, listen to it in its entirety, take notes, ask questions. If you join the Discord tomorrow, we kind of do a recap um, of what we talked about on the live. So that's a great time to join the community chat when we do that voice chat and ask those questions that you weren't able to ask or that came to you in the middle of the night. Pick up a pen, write down what you are, thinking about and ask those questions. May, it is not a YouTube live, it's just the audio stripped from this live to recap what we did talk about, but maybe YouTube Live might be something in the future that we can look into.
You never know.
But and I think maybe a podcast in the works eventually. But for now on YouTube, all of the audio from this live is stripped and it is put into a video form on YouTube. So go back, listen to the live, write down your notes, think about the things that you want to ask about, and the thing that you can do tomorrow when we recap the live is to ask those important questions. That's why we have the recap on Sundays. You guys got us to 105K likes, over 80 shares. So I want to thank every single one of you for showing up and being attentive and really filling in this chat with some amazing questions, some amazing points. If you guys are not following Relationship Gumbo yet, please do. This man has an immense amount of information that he is willing to share with everyone, and it's a lot that you can take from it. I know I always love when he joins the panel because I take information from him and just eat that up. As Riz would say, get all the nummies when Relationship Gumbo is up here because I listen to literally everything that he says and just kind of absorb that information. Um, you guys did amazing, and we want to thank every single one of you for being active participants in this live. You guys make it what it is. In addition to all the information that we receive, we couldn't do it without all of you. So I want to say thank you to every single person that joined us live and participated in a positive way. Regardless if the questions were small or big, you guys make a difference in even striking thoughts into our host's brain and kind of putting a different spin on everything. So we appreciate every single one of you. Please make sure if you have not joined the Discord yet, you let us know. We will send you a link, get you in there. We will be doing the recap tomorrow for anybody that has any questions. Please be sure to look for that information or send us a message if you need that link. You do need to download the Discord first, and then you can join with the link. So we appreciate every single one of y'all. I'm going to speak on behalf of Warmiga because he is probably one of the bravest people I know, leaving his phone and just walking away from it in the middle of New Jersey. God bless that man and his trust for other people. But thank you all for joining, and we hope to see you next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
How can I go after that? That's crazy. I just want to tell everybody, I want everybody to know that you're not alone. Okay? The process that you are going through, you are not alone. Everybody's going through a process. Even us, yes, even us coaches are going through a process. It's not just you guys, all right? Understand the cap doesn't stop with us. We're going through things too, and we're trying to figure things out too. So we're right there with you guys. Just know that. Don't think that just because we wear this hat and we have the certifications and stuff like that doesn't mean that we're not human. We go through things too. We're going through a growth process and the healing process as well. You know what I'm saying? This is why we do this, because what we grow and what we learn from, we can apply to you guys. We can teach you guys, and we can show you the human side of us. That's the best thing about being a coach, is because we can show that human side of us. Like, you know, on top of the education, we're still human at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of that. Be proud of the things that you've done, the things that you've accomplished, the little goals, the bigger goals, right? Because the little goals always exceed and they grow into the bigger goals. So celebrate your little wins. Celebrate the little goals. Tap yourself on the back. You know what I'm saying? Take yourself shopping if you gotta take yourself shopping. For the you know, something that celebrates that little win that you got, right? From the process of healing. Don't ever ignore the little ones, right? And I've told this to a few people in my Discord. If you gotta take a break, take a break. Because there's no race to your healing. It's a marathon. If you feel like you've done enough for the time being, take a break. Take like a couple of days off. You know, self-care, right? Do that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's needed. Constantly working on yourself can also be overwhelming. I know a lot of coaches don't talk about that, but it's overwhelming. Even for us, it's overwhelming. Sometimes we have to take a break in the same process.
Every time.
Okay. Like I think I just want to be transparent with you guys and have you guys understand that even with us, we also have to take breaks. Okay. Because with us having multiple clients and speaking to multiple people and helping multiple people in vast majorities, like you guys, we have like 59 people here. We had like 80 people at one point. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of people coming in and getting the information in. And for me, I'm an empath. I feel energy. I know when somebody's energy is off. I know when somebody's energy where it's supposed to be. And if I feel your energy is off, it kind of shifts my energy a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So just be very mindful of things like that. It's important. It's important. Like, pay attention to your process. There's a lot of moving avenues. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of chapters. Just be mindful of the chapter that you're in, and focus on that chapter. Don't focus on multiple chapters at once. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not healthy to focus on so many chapters at once. If you guys haven't joined the Discord, like Babe said and Mama G said, make sure y'all hit the link tree. If the link in the link tree does not work, if it does not work, download the Discord. Send me a message and download the Discord and let me know if the link is working or not. For some reason, the link expires every 7 days. So I would have to send you a new link too, Derek. I gotta send you a new one from the one that I sent you previously. So just send me the message. Let me know if the link works or not, and I'll send you the brand new link to your message box, to your DMs. Grab the book. If you haven't grabbed the book, go in my link tree, hit the link, or go on Amazon and type in Mindyourmental. Read the reviews. The reviews make a big difference because a lot of the reviews that are there are people that generally actually read the book, and they messaged me before they even did the review and told me that the process that they went through after reading the book helped their marriage, helped their regular relationship, not the marriage, but the regular relationship, the relationship with their kids, the relationship with themselves. And this is not something that's just me just saying it. They literally wrote this to me on TikTok. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I read through the whole message. So it's a process, and the book is gonna help. I'm
We
working on part
asked.
3.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, we asked you that if you've read the book, please post your reviews to Amazon. The reviews really definitely help. So please post your reviews and make sure that you are letting us know, exactly what you thought about the book. That helps with sales and so on and so forth.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm working on book 2. That's not gonna drop until the anniversary of Monumental, which is on the 13th of April. But in the same process, I'm also working on a poetry book. So be mindful, wait for that to come out. That might come out sometime in January or December, give or take, if I can finish it in time. But I am working on a poetry book. It is a mental health poetry book. So it's going to be a lot of the poetry that I've written put into one book. Not long. I don't know how long the book's going to be, but I have a lot of poetry, people. So I got to find the right ones to put in the book. But be on the lookout for that. And sometime next year in June or July, I gotta actually talk to you about that too, Derek. I'm trying to create a master class for self-discovery. So I'm working on putting the pieces together. I know for a fact that it's gonna be on Zoom, but I am also creating an event in my state. I'm working with other therapists and psychologists to create an event in my state. It's gonna be like a week-long event. I'm kind of trying to put all that information from the class to be in that 1 week event. So a lot of moving pieces. Trying to legitimize everything with Official Monumental, making it an actual business. Working on patenting and all of the back end stuff to try to get that situated, but costly money. Hi guys, costs money to make things happen, costs, to make things shift. But I do appreciate everybody that's been supporting us over the last 4 years. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster, and I appreciate all of you guys. And we're gonna continue to grow together, right? As a community, not just me as the individual, but as a community, as the community of coaches, as a community of people trying to work on themselves. As a community of moderators that I've had over the years. I appreciate all of you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because without you guys, this environment wouldn't be safe. You know what I'm saying? So the moderators keep this place safe for you guys. So we appreciate you guys for even rocking with us, as long as you guys been rocking with us, because it's not an easy thing to do. But next Saturday, I will not be here. What's the 24th is next Saturday? Yeah, I will not be here because I have an event for work that I have to be at from 8 to 1. So I won't be here. I'll go live, but I won't be doing the mental health live. I'll be doing the back to school event for the kids. Yes, got to get back to the community, guys. So I'll be doing the back to event in school from 8 to 1. And maybe if y'all want to do a live after that, we can. You know what I'm saying, for an hour or so. But that'll be up to you guys if y'all want to do that. The Discord, we'll make that decision in the Discord if you guys want us to go live and do something. For the coaches in the Discord, we have our own channel. I created that. Make sure that the coaches have their own channel so that way we can communicate together for certain events and things that you guys want to do. If you guys got something going on so we can all support, we can communicate that in the chat, in the Discord. So, but guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta go get a shower and get situated because I gotta go pick up my brats and take them school shopping. Fun, right? the fun things of being a parent is school shopping. But in a world full of negativity, choose love and love on purpose. Keep life simple. Love is the glue. Respect is the flavor. You dig, you dig, you dig. Make sure y'all living within your value energy. And I pity the fool who doesn't mind their mental. Peace.